So here we are again, and we're going to start with I did this a long time ago. It's called Death of a Doctrine, number 4, and I come in saying that all black is not black. This is well over a year ago. The entirety of the message back then was the same thing I'm saying now, but I had far less evidence to support the claim, far less understanding. For me, this has been just as much growth. I grow as much as I believe people who view the content do. I grow from the questions, but outside from the questions that I grow from the fact that I have to do the research to learn what it is that I'm going to say. For example, here it says Pan-African Conference, Westminster Town Hall on the 23rd, 24th, and 25th July. That's 1900. That's 117 years ago, almost 118 in a few months. This conference is organized by a committee of the African Association for the discussion, listen, of the native races. Are you hearing that? Of the native races. Question, and will be attended and addressed by those of African descent from all parts of the British Empire, the United States, Abyssinia, Liberia, Haiti, etc. You are cordially and earnestly invited to attend. Conferences, morning, 10:30, and evening, 8:30. H.S. Williams, Honorable Secretary, 139 Palace Chamber, wherever the SW means. What's extremely crucial about this piece of paper is that there's another gentleman, and I'm going to pull up his picture real quick. Give me one moment. And he's a very interesting individual. His name is Mulango Karenga. Give me 1 second, and he'll be on the screen. And he is pretty much the modern day Proctor for Pan-Africanism. You understand what I'm talking about? So, and he's the creator of Kwanzaa. You understand? Now, when I pull up the picture of this guy, right, you're gonna just be like, "Oh, that's just a everyday brother." But I want you guys to really be thinking about what the Aboriginals look like. And once again, I'm gonna have these pictures for y'all to see. Give me 1 second, and we're gonna go over it. But we're gonna go and look into the actual history. I'm gonna pull up the Google search on it. I could have had it all semi-memorized, but it's better when you take people so that way they can see exactly what you're talking about and they understand that you aren't trying to pull the okie doke. So we're going to screen share again. Application window, so that way it's not all sloppy. See, I'm learning. I'm learning them. You understand, y'all? I'm learning them. They think that they're slick. But I'm steadily learning how to do all this. And do it so that way it's not sloppy. Okay, here we are. Damn it. So we're gonna go history of Aboriginal people. And then we're gonna go North America. Oh. All right. So Aboriginal people in Canada are the indigenous peoples in North America within the boundaries of present-day Canada. Now, this is Wikipedia, so we don't really give a damn what the hell they're talking about. But even they understand what I'm talking about. That these guys, once again, no matter what you want to talk about, land bridge, or and once again, this is thousands of years ago, or people coming up from the middle of the planet and actually, once again, I don't know, infested. They really infested the planet with their presence. Like, I'm not trying to sound foul or nothing like that, but this is kind of how it worked out. Let's look at some of these pictures. Okay, Omaha Indians. Nope, not worried about them. No offense, I don't try to even stress the pictures where they look white and watered down anymore. You know, those pictures are pictures. Like, look how dark Geronimo is, right? You know, these are things that they don't want you to see. You know, excuse me. Next page. Look at these children. Look how dark the children are. You know, and these are pictures that I normally just go just like this. Bam, save image as. The image is saved just like that. I need that for a future project. That's how I do this. And I just look at the pictures. I'm looking at these people. This is a lovely picture right here. Okay, so look at all these different looks of the people. One of you would probably try to claim that that guy in the bottom left corner is the brother. He's got the beard, right? And then he probably had children with somebody who is closest to the person on the right. No, 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 no. This is exactly what I've been trying to say to you. The Aboriginals, which is this guy on the bottom left corner right here, have the loose curly hair and their full drab of facial hair. You have the dark-skinned people up to the right-hand corner with straight hair and no facial hair. Then you have the people with coarse hair and no facial hair. The idea is that they mated with the facial haired black person to introduce that genetic to their genome. And this is how it comes to be. Now, I know you're probably thinking, how can you use one picture to prove it? This one picture, first off, look how old it looks, right? This is what they look, so-called Australoid, right on? So-called Caucasian, so-called African, excuse me, right? So-called Malay, right? Aboriginal, so-called Mongoloid up there in the upper left. These are things that because a person can overlook them. See, and this is why I don't normally go to Pinterest because it'll skip all this. But even when you look at things like this, look at this black person right here, right? They don't look like nobody I know. They look like no one that I know. Let's get out of Pinterest because they like to do way too much. Anyway, I'm going to save this picture, and this will be in another video for some other time. Talking about the same stuff I'm talking about now. This is actually, I have this picture right here in my library. This is one of my favorite pictures to use. Look at the facial features of these people, okay? Look at the long drawn faces. Look at their hair. Let's just go back to the picture we were just looking at. Look at the guy in the upper right corner. Look at his hair. Look at the facial symmetry of this individual. You understand? There's been so much blood mixing of just the Mongoloid, the Mali, or the Aboriginal, the African, and the so-called Australoid. You understand me? Who's also found here in the Native America. These people have blood mixed so hard that some of their bloodlines look exactly similar or the same as people that you look at today. And the reason being is because, once again, how different can people look? You have white people who look similar to other black people that you know. And not that they look like them, but their facial symmetry as far as how their face is put together, their facial hair formation, all that stuff. Let's keep looking at a couple more pictures, and then I'm going to close this down, and then we're going to do a hardcore research. Look at this. Indians of the Bay Area, California, San Francisco. Do these look like, man, I'm trying to tell you, do these look like your people? I mean, you really got to be honest with yourself. I know black people that look like this, but those aren't my people. I can say that, you know, this is why we do this. And I'm glad that, you know, that I've done it this way now. You know, every expound will only ever be a live stream. It has to almost be like that, because there's no way that I can speak and then expect any kind of feedback right then and there as to how people are actually taking it or perceiving it. Give me one moment. Look at these guys. I mean, they don't look like us. They don't look like my people. And it's just because we have to constantly go over that. So even if we were to go over this right here, right? This is the so-called plains of where they were at, right? So northeast, southeast, southwest, the Plain Indians, Great Basin, California, North Coast, subarctic, and Arctic. They knew where these guys were located at when they were located in these regions and areas, so-called, you know. And this is a picture with, it's not as clear, but It gives better understanding. Let's see what this one says. This is probably a map of ancient of where so-called darker skinned people from like China, things like that of the nature. Because this right here has like Egypt, the so-called modern day Egypt, parts of India, pretty much all of China, lower Russia, and everything going to the east. So, um, and this is just another indication of where these people can be found or where they were found. However, let's keep going. I just need one of these fire ass pictures to really just set it all off. That's not clear enough. Let's see if it gets any more clearer. No, I like this picture, but it's not the one I'm looking for. Hold on a second. See, look, and then when it says right here, blacks are the first two Americans. I got this book right here, White Trash. The woman is Nancy Eisenberg. I got some stuff that I have clipped and saved as far as like bookmarks or whatever. Very interesting stuff. 1 second. I need that barn burner. It's coming. I know it's just a matter of time. Even look at this one of this, of the red face Indians. Look, do these really look like your people? It's reckless to say that. That's reckless. And above all, that demeans you of your heritage. Boom, boom. Now notice that they got white-looking people and native people, so-called aboriginals, right? It's like, man, look. Even look at this young lady right here, and this is one of the ones that I like these pictures because everybody's talking about they got an Indian person in their family. If they look like this, they're for sure a Middle Earth Gentile thing all the fucking way. There's no question. Look, look how straight the hair is. You're not my people if your hair is like that. If you straighten your hair out, that's one thing. If you came out the womb and your hair has never changed, it's a whole nother. They have this little picture right here. I'm gonna copy this one because I know for a fact that this is one of those ones where they got pictures of all these so-called Indian people, right? Give me one moment. I know one gonna blow it up. Come on. None of you guys blow it up? This one's probably the best one. I don't feel like straining my eyes right now. Ah, another beautiful picture. I have this one. I think all these pictures on my computer that I'm gonna show you. Look at these guys. Where are their beards at for how coarse the hair is supposed to be? Coarse looking. Where are their beards? Yeah. They don't grow them. They're not your people. And there's people with similar facial formations just like this to this day. Look, these people on this boat, stop, and these dudes are not the same, nor do they look the same. Look, they don't even look the same. They don't even look the same. Certain facial features, once again, because inbreeding, because these aboriginals can be found in every land. They were once everywhere. You understand? When they came out of Middle Earth, they came out of Middle Earth in very strong numbers. So once again, this is one of my favorite pictures to show people. Once again, pay homage to this picture because the guy to the very left, that short guy right there, his facial hair comes all the way up almost to his eyes. Why is that important? Because unless these other guys shave their facial hair way down, right? And it looks like they do. At least the guy on to the end, the guy all the way to the right, it looks like he shaves all the way down and pushes it down. But just understand, like that's not a normal facial hair formation for Black people. To have the facial hair that high up is not a normal formation. So a lot of the time when I see these guys who have hair that high up all on their faces, I normally know that they have Aboriginal blood. Like I'm quite sure that's Aboriginal blood. Because these aren't the only pictures of Aborigines who have wild facial hair like that. When you look at pictures of ancient Hebrews, the facial hair doesn't look that wild. It doesn't bush out that much. There's a lot of different little things that you have to take into account. Mongoloid migrations from Asia. Look. They're trying to say that they came over from Asia. Bam, bam, bang. You understand? And then came on down. Well, if that's the case, and only if that's the case, that means that they had to be somewhere that was where they could either get to Asia or they started in Asia. However, the idea is right now we're just talking about the North American Aboriginals. We're not even talking about, I haven't even moved to Australia, you know what I'm talking about, or even tried to move to South America. So this is just these people of the North American region. And then you appreciate them, okay? Appreciate them. You can think they're the same people as, once again, the non-facial hair Blacks that I've already showed going through, but they're not. They're very different people. They come from a whole totally different genus. I'm going to take this right here. I love this right here. I love this. This is a really good picture. This is a really good picture. See, pictures like this give you a much better understanding. So when you see all these names, if you still hear these names now, right, chances are, if they're considered a civilized tribe, the greater majority of the chances that they're a sellout tribe. You see what I'm saying? I want you guys to ask yourself this: why would the people who have conquered this land pay those that caused trouble while they were trying to take over and conquer it? Why would they pay them the most money and not the people who made it easy for them to take over? Right. And let's just look at this native woman, right? White looking native woman with all the rest of the other Indians there, right? Look how dark some of the natives are. Take note, some of these dudes grow facial hair. Some of them look like they don't grow facial hair. But you know that they're all mixed with something when they're growing the facial hair. This is in 1913. It's just over 100 years ago. So it's just one of those things where, do these look like your people? No, they don't. They don't look nothing like you. But people are willing to call them their people. That's atrocious. That is abominable, you know. And the fact that people feel like they have the, you know, just the right to do that is crazy. Give me 1 second. I love this picture. Look at this picture. Look at these booty face, as my bro said the other day, monkey face people. And look at these other guys who can clearly grow facial hair. And one of the dudes with them, I'm not saying he's Black, but look though, it's a white guy in the middle of them. Look, they're all in the middle of the day. Unless this nigga is standing in the coldest shadow ever cast upon a human being, why is his skin not white? Because the dude right behind him is white. Thank you very much. These are small things to look at within. When you're looking at stuff, you got to take into account all the keen little details. Look at the skull formation on these people and their heads, how their heads are shaped, how their faces are shaped. All these things matter. One moment, let's find another interesting picture. Let's see if there's any more good ones down here. Oh, I like this one. Look at the guy to the very left right there. Look how dark he is. Look at the formation of his hair, the kind of hair that he has. Look at the little girl. Look at the grandma, right? But look at the face on the man that's right next to the younger man, right? He looks like he's slightly taller. His face is, I mean, very narrow, right? Almost bird-like, just as is the other man's, but his facial formation is longer, it seems. But they have similar features. So whatever differences of bloodlines they come from have interbred. Um, I mean, I could say, need I say more? But I want to point out something. I know you've seen a black woman or a black man who have similar facial structure to that woman over there. And I know you're thinking like, wow, he went there. You've seen a whole lot of dark-skinned Africans, light-skinned brothers, dark-skinned brothers and sisters who have a very similar demeanor to this person. Once again, when people have been blood mixing for hundreds, thousands of years, you know, depending on the scenario, you take on certain likenesses and features from the bloodlines it is that you're featured in now, or that are featured within your bloodline. Look at this. Man, this is once again worth 1,000 freaking words. Look at the back left. Look at the brother back there, right? So-called brother, right? Handsome guy. Look at him. Look at the guy next to him who's standing up. Oh, gee, probably his dad, because they look very similar. Check this out. Look how different the two gentlemen who are sitting down on the outer corners look compared to the two men that I just compared them to. Look how the two men that are in the back right and the man who was in the furthest back right, he looks to be a mixture closer to the both people, both bloodlines. And why I say this is because his skin tone, based on the lighting of the photo, I say this because once again, I'm looking at the other two guys that are right behind everybody, and they're the two darkest guys in the room, it seems. And look at their hair. All their hair is straight. Unless your hair grows straight like that. Once again, what would cause that to happen though? What? Don't just say genetics. I understand genetics, but what part of the genetics and why would that take place within their genome? Explain that. Mixed Native and Black Comanche Indian family. Now the father's nowhere, right? So we don't know what the dad really looks like. See what I'm saying? And we don't know what kind of black the dad is. So when they say black, it's a relative term. And I know people are like, this is what it is, yo. This is what it is. And this is the most constructive way I can do it. Just once again, this is just Black Native Americans here. We're about to go to the Aboriginals of Australia. Give me one moment. While I stop sharing for half a second and figure this out. So, Roderick Smith, what up, bro? What's cracking? But I'm just I really gotta I really have to put this together the right way because 1 second. 1 second. If it's not tapered off at certain spots and then I pick it up at other areas, what'll end up happening is I'll confuse people, you know. So I'm gonna pull up once again, I'm gonna screen share again, and I'm gonna pull up this picture of Mulonga Karenga, right? And we're gonna go to this website that I like a lot. It's a really good website, you know. Look at this guy. Just real quick. This is the founder of Kwanzaa. Why that's so important? That Pan-African conference thing I was telling you about. Well, see, he bought into Pan-Africanism. So much so, look at his facial hair formation. I want you to think about that. He bought into it so much so that he believed that blacks should have their own holidays. Okay? Look at this dude. Look at this dude. Now, he can say whatever, but he's given in to the societal understanding of whatever so much that he shaves his face, yet he promotes his blackness somehow, you know? And it's like, I don't understand that because we all don't look the same. So he can't expect for me as a black man to want to commingle with another person who has dark skin just solely based on that fact alone. You know, that's not gonna cut it. And And I know everybody want to hear that, but that's what it is. So I'm gonna screen share again. Here we go. 1 second. So look, I'm gonna start right here. You guys have already seen this picture in my video a few times. If you haven't, then that just means that you just didn't see the picture, but it's been there. Look at these dudes. Look at their faces, facial hair structure, all that. All of it. How their bodies are built, the actual width of their shoulders, all these kinds of things, right? They're all built very much the same, look very much similar. Don't look nothing like anybody, but I'm not going to point that out just yet. Not even worried about that just yet. This picture won't clear up. These are just Aboriginal women. I'm not going to exploit them. It's not my thing. So look at these mother suckers. Who are these people? Who are these people? Yet they're considered, once again, because this is for the native Australians, right on, who are Aboriginals. You get me? So whenever we see pictures that go against the grain of that, but look at the hair of these little babies. The way you don't get it all messed up. That's straight hair, yeah. That's straight hair. Don't get it confused. Look. These people have been beaten into submission. You understand that? Look at these Aboriginal people. They don't look like, I'm just saying, I want you to really think about this. And I've heard so many people say this, but the brother that said it recently that really touched me when he said it, his name is Killmonger, right? And he said, why would somebody go all the way across the world to go pick up people that aren't wearing clothes when they could just have other people who they already looking at, black as a motherfucker, not wearing no clothes, do all the same work for them? It doesn't make no sense. They came and got those people for a designated reason, and they must have been good at what they were doing. Let's see this. See, I can't see who this supposed to be. It looks like white on white crime. Now look at this. This is a group of Aboriginals, right? Look how light-skinned some of them are. Look how dark-skinned some of them are. So you know that these are Aboriginals that have had the white genetic introduced into their bloodline. Look how not so different they look, even though that genetic has been introduced into their bloodline. They don't. Most brother-looking dude is all the way in the back. He's standing up, and he's got his hands on two gentlemen's shoulders. One is sitting down. It seems they both may be sitting down, or one just might be really short. However, he's standing up. He's the closest dude to looking to a brother in the picture. But I know for a fact if he grew his hair out, because it goes curly and loose, he's not our people. It's not our people. And it's people will see one photo like this and be like, see, I told you black people live there. I told you. That kind of ignorance is the kind of ignorance as to why we have no knowledge of self. Because in this book, White Trash, I'm going to read something to you about not what I said, but Thomas Jefferson said about being able to rub out pretty much your genetics, right? And get rid of them in 3 generations. You hearing me? This is what this man believed. So, I mean, people can say whatever, but this is a fact. You know, Thomas Jefferson didn't have no black damn slave children. His wife was a watered down a black person, super watered down. She was only a quarter black. And this is where he got the idea that you could get the blood out of a person, okay? And then I got to find it where it's talking about the generational thing, right? They talk about for 3 generations, pretty much, that's the number, okay? And you have people who were charged with crimes for having children, right? For multiple generations that were degenerate in this country of America right now. So before anybody want to say whatever, right? you got to really know, like, where would they get these ideas from? You know, and I've been telling y'all this. It takes 3 generations. I've been saying this for forever. It takes 3 generations. And eugenic professors, before I even knew anything about you, I've been saying this forever. So I know what I'm talking about. Because there's people who've done the work to back up what I'm saying over 100 years ago. How'd that work out? And I didn't even never know that. One moment. So let's read this first part about Thomas Jefferson real quick, while I get to some more interesting photos to look at. Oh, here we go. Look at that dude right there holding the basket. Look at his hair. I'll put my top, middle, and bottom dollar. That's an Aboriginal dude. They had Aboriginals, okay, and blacks working side by side. When they blood mix and made babies together, a person who grows a beard plus another person who grows a beard is going to make a bearded baby. You understand that? When it's a man. So when this bloodline congeals completely, and it did, and it has, you're going to have people who are pretty much not even Shemitic saying that they are, with the ability to, just because they come from slave lineage. On that fact alone, this is why people should use a lot more discernment before they say, oh, just because they come from slave blood, they're my people. No, they have to look like you, be like you, act like you. Moving forward again. More white Aboriginals with a black Aboriginal woman over there, right? Little mixed babies. It looks like the dude is holding. Looks like they've been inbred with the little white genetic. Because look how white some of these people are compared to how dark some of them are. It's just little things like that. But listen to this, y'all. I'm gonna read something I'm about to hit y'all up because a lot of people didn't notice about the. I know you didn't know because I didn't know this. Jefferson calculated how a black slave could turn white. Once a slave possessed 7/8 white blood, which is 87.5%, the taint of his or her African past was deemed gone. Wow. Wow. Listen to this. It is understood in natural history that a fourth cross of one race of animals gives an issue of equivalent for all sensible purposes to the original blood. This was the same formula Jefferson used in breeding an original stock of merino sheep. William Byrd had earlier talked about blanching Native Americans through intermarriage with the Europeans. Now, why would you need to make the Native Americans lighter if they're already white-skinned already? Red-skinned, white-skinned looking people. You would one generation of them and they're white-looking people. So that doesn't make sense. So to have to plan to intermarry with these people for generations means that they're dark-skinned people, very dark-skinned. And the woman who wrote this book does not put off that she knows that the Indians or the Native Americans were primarily black-looking people. A lot of them were black-looking people. With this right here, check this right here out. As Buffon put it, breeding back to the original stock meant reconstituting blacks as white people. Jefferson's friend William Short took Buffon's idea quite seriously. In 1798 letter to Jefferson, he noted how blacks in the U.S. were becoming lighter. That's because they were out of the sun now, not getting baked every day by the damn sun. The different conditions in the climate here in America as opposed to Africa and then what you call the Middle East are so different that, of course, it's going to cause people to lighten up in skin tone. I darken up when I get in the sun, and then I get lighter during the winter. So, of course. So this is what, once again, they're so smart that they don't know that. And it says, he admitted that this was partly due to the mixing with whites, partly due with the mixing of whites. But he felt climate mattered as well. Thank you. They know better, man. They're not stupid. Can you dig it? They know it has nothing to do with mixing with white people. Why? There was light-skinned black people that was on those boats. Y'all don't want to admit that to yourself. You see what I'm saying? There was yellow people on them boats, duh. Yeah. Look at these people right here. These are all Aboriginals. Every single one of them. Not one of them is your people. The facial features, okay? Facial symmetry, i.e. facial hair features, where the facial hair formation, right? The hair, the hair formation, all these things, and the overall body and how their body is built. You need to understand that these people have been blood mixing with other people for thousands of years, or in some cases only hundreds. But it takes 3 generations to completely congeal your bloodlines together. Where one, be it even if you're the progenitor, you could be the lesser stock in the bloodline eventually. Whereas the person who's not the progenitor of the bloodline could end up being the majority of the stock, which is why Jefferson wanted to try to whitewash the people out. But it took so many generations. See what I'm saying? For a person to be 87.5%, that means that one parent is 100%, the other parent is 3/4. Let me break this down. If you came here 100%, right, and then the white man has a baby, bam, that baby's 50-50 now, right? So look, the baby goes and has a baby with the person that's 100%. Now that baby's 25%, right on? Or 75%, and then a quarter, whatever. Listen, that's the second generation. That's the third generation in. You need another generation, okay? 4 generations, but 3 from you though, in order to actually take and make that possible. So it's more difficult and more complicated than you think. Look at this picture right here. This couldn't be a better picture. These dudes have been colonized. This is the only reason why they have clothes on. The only reason why they have clothes on. Look at them. They don't look like no black people I know. They look like some dark-ass white people. Some super dark-ass white people. I'm not being rude. This is what they look like. They live like, like straight podunk, hillbilly white trash. The same kind of white trash that is in America now. The same kind of white trash that they complain about being all in this motherfucker. But understand, the term white trash is a dictation of people that are mixed with this kind of blood. Thank you very much. These punk ass white boys. Anyway, let me leave them alone. I don't want to talk about them right now. They ain't shit. Now look at this. These are dudes from Papau, okay? These are dudes from Papau, okay? Understand this. They're mixed, though. They're mixed between the bloodlines. I know you guys are like, how can you tell? Look how their bodies are built. Look how their bodies are built. These guys are way hardier naturally. And you'll be like, oh, that's because they eat. There's pictures of other dudes that they're not built like this. You know what I mean? Their bodies look way different. But you can tell that these dudes are mixed just because you can look at the forehead structure, the eyebrow structure on the dudes on the 2 men to the left, and you can really see the Aboriginal stock within their blood. You see what I'm saying? But once again, though, the body formation and all that, and then plus this is a picture of guys who are on Papau. This tells you that they've blood mixed with the Japhetites there. Moving forward. Look at this one. Let it clear up. Look at this. Look at this. Who do you know looks like this? Once again, these dudes aren't built the same as the other guys I just had up here. Look at these guys' body formation. All right. Look at these guys. Again, look. All right. And then look. They're just built differently. They're not built the same. Look at all these different faces, right? Of the so-called black people. Where's the dude with a straight up afro at? Where he be at on this whole thing? Nowhere. That's the first thing I looked for was a fro. And this is my first time ever seeing this. You don't see one because they weren't dealing with black people with that kind of hair. So they weren't your people. These are Australian Aboriginals because the picture is so far away, you can't see some of the telltale signs. And you would be not forced, but you would be fooled in believing that these are African Americans, so-called Negroes, but they're not. They're Aboriginals. Understand me. If you mate people together who look similar for hundreds of years, the children have no choice but to look a certain way. You don't have a choice in how you look because you didn't start that blood mixing. Can you dig that? Wow, look how drastic their population dropped over not even a 200-year period. You know, and they claim it slowly started to rise back up after they, like, you know, after they fully took it all over. They're like, okay, now we can stop killing them. Now we can actually stop killing them. We can start letting them have babies again. And now the Aboriginals over there in New Zealand, they're all crazy. They're alcoholics, just like Native Americans are here in the U.S. They live totally destructive lives. It's horrible. Bam. This is a bomb-ass picture right here. Look at these. Look at the dude furthest to the right. He's the darkest out of all those dudes. You can just tell, but once again, the lighting of the picture doesn't betray anything. He's the darkest dude out of all 5 of them, right? There's one actual black-looking dude, and the rest of these guys are darker skinned, but they look lighter than he does. They even look different in the face than he does. Once again, that's because he could be mixed with the whole other, with the different part of another bloodline. But because you're all within tribe, you know, authority, he's there. You understand? Man, this stuff is crazy. I can't see where this is supposed to be at. But just look at these people. They're dark skinned, with straight hair. Some of the men may have facial hair. There's a guy standing up way in the back with facial hair and straight hair. Dark skinned people standing around, but they look Asian. They look Asian in a mug. So it's just one of those things where you can say what you like to say. This is right here in front of you, you know, and you can go back to La La Land after this video. That's fine. That's your prerogative. Will you do me a solid, Jeff? Will you turn on the light right there, bro? Yeah. Look at this picture. They're just standing around. Oh, no. Yes, sir. They're just standing around. Now look how dark some of them are. Look how lighter some of them are, right? Either, once again, Aboriginals come in different shades, varying, or I could surmise that by the time this photo was taken, the white man had already, once again, interjected himself into their history and into their bloodline as well, forcing his little bastards to be running around with them. Yep. Look at this dude. He don't look like no brother. None of these look like no sisters or nothing. They look like a bunch of Asian people. Slightly dark skinned, but they lighter than the people that you've been looking at. They're considered Aboriginal. Once again, the term is so loose. You really need to like key in specifically what you mean. Look at this. Look at these dudes. Look at these dudes. They don't have to shave, y'all. They don't. They don't have to shave. And even though it's supposed to be a movie, this is a depiction of so-called Zulu warriors. Understand that they're not your people, number one. Number two, if a people who looks like them and the peoples who look like, let's say this, a fully bearded population plus a non-bearded population equals people who are mediocrely bearded and facial hair. Once again, once dominance of genetics starts to take over between the mixing of bloods, then the features settle themselves in. Right. Oh, you guys know this is like my favorite picture of the Aboriginals. These are probably the 2 closest looking dudes that I've found on the internet that look like brothers. Especially this guy to the left. He looks just like a brother. Look at his hair. Too loose. But I know that black people have been blood mixing with people just like that because there's brothers who look just like that. To the right. We know brothers that look like that guy too. So we know that these people have been bred into our own bloodlines, causing therefore similar facial features via facial hair symmetry, via facial symmetry. Look at these people. Look at these. Look. If you look like this, I'm not knocking them, but the Aboriginals are so inbred. Okay, a lot of them. This is why some of them will look like that and some of them won't. That's because they don't inbreed so hard. All of them. They just understand you don't have to do that. Look at these people. Inbred in a mug. And I'm not taking shots. I'm just telling you what it is. You know, they're not built the same. The women aren't built the same. None of that. Big ass monster hands on them and all that shit, man. It's crazy. Anyway, look at this dude. A lot of people are like, this a brother. That ain't no brother. That ain't no brother. That's an aboriginal, a straight black aboriginal. You know, and they say whatever they want to say. But until they can prove me right, as far as these are different people that they're looking at, because they can't say that, oh no, that's wrong. They're different. Because you would, once again, you have to explain everything scientifically to me. How does a person who grows from having a beard and loose curly hair go to having tight, coarse hair and no facial hair? They don't go together. Literally, it doesn't add up. So I can't just give that to somebody and say that's what it is. That, you know, that's all there is to it. Let's look at this one. Look at baby girl to the left over there. And then should you even go to the one to the chick all the way to the far right? Look at those two women. Tell me you haven't met chicks with, I mean, whose faces, forget their hair, whose faces look like that. Right. I know y'all don't want to hear this because you like, shit, I look like that. You're probably mixed with that kind of blood. Not saying that's who you are, but you need to pay homage to how genetics work. So while looking at all these people, they're all dark skinned, right? Look at how their bodies are built. Not nowhere like my people's, nothing like my people's. And their hair ain't even nothing like my people's. But you can tell just by looking at them that all these dudes aren't the same. Their hair falls down and their hair is more bushy like. These are small things you can look at on the photos that the photos tell you. How does that happen within your own population? Obviously, all those who are breeding are not of the same genetic constitution. That's how. Don't worry about that picture. But this is the Aboriginal conference. I don't know. I don't see no Aborigines. If these little people over here are supposed to be Aborigines, if the dude wearing the suit is an Aborigine, you see how white he is now? See what I'm saying? You see how watered down? That would be like having a dude, like, no offense, like J. Cole trying to be the face of black people. It's a fucking insult. Drake, the face of black people. You're mixed, bro. You can say you're black because your dad is black, but really you're mixed because you don't come from a black bloodline. When you want to talk about these people in the bloodline who were blood mixing, they were blood mixing with other black people who come from a genetic constitution closest to their own. Right. Yet, however, I don't know what I'm talking about, so let's not talk about that. Let's talk about something else. Same old picture. What is this? That ain't got nothing to do with no Aboriginals. Looks like some women rights nonsense. Look at this dude. I like these kind of pictures right here. Look at this dude. Beautiful picture too. I mean, that's a beautiful picture. It must have been a very expensive camera. However, look at his hair. Now his body's put together, right? He's not your people. That is not your people. And I'm going to constantly harp on that because everybody wants to be so quick. Oh, that's us. That's us. When they see a picture of a black person, you sound so ill-educated when you say that. The white evildoers are just like, they just love it. They love it. They love when you talk like that. They love even more when you call them Esau. They love it. They're calling us genetically related to them. What a joke. What a joke. And if you didn't hear what Thomas Jefferson said about being 7/8, if you're 7/8 whitey, you're no longer Esau at all to them. So even if you started out Esau, you're no longer Esau. I've been trying to say this for the longest time. White and black skin, black and white skin. It's not a hard concept. It's not a hard concept at all. Look at these black people right here, right? Clearly not your people. You want to try to be like, oh, look, that looks like he has dreads. Those aren't dreads. That's just matted ass, nasty hair. Those are not your people. A bearded Aboriginal. Why the women got hair that fall down at their people then? Come on, man. Let's just keep it 1,000. Look at this picture of these white people massacring black aboriginals in what looks like America. Come on, man. Come on, man. Like, be 100 with yourself. And the dude throwing a spear right here look like he grow a beard. Guy getting knifed up who about to eat that sword look like he don't. But these white boys look like they all grow facial hair. What's important about this is there's a lot of European populations where facial hair is almost a void feature for the men. So how can you say anything about a European beard theory? If that's the silly notion that you want to take up with your boy. Nope, same picture again. Okay, so look, this is a slave patrol right here, way back in the day, right? Now that's a black man. He's probably mixed with different bloodlines. He done got snatched up for trying to escape. They're about to whoop his ass. Look at this dude. He's the face of the Aboriginals, Australian, and he's white than a motherfucker. It's crazy. That's the shit I'm talking about right there. Right there. And you want to call these people they're not, that is not your people. Look, they got these damn Islamic people, you know what I'm saying, wearing British flag. Man, just looking ridiculous. Anyway, let me just keep it pushing. Because it ain't got nothing to do with what I'm trying to do. Nothing. So look, this is Australia apparently. Seeing white boys pull up. And these niggas is ass naked, ain't wearing no clothes. Why would you want them to build your nation for you? These niggas don't got no cities, no houses, nothing. Nothing. And these are the people that you want to build your nation? Barbarians and savages? Really? Really now? Why do you think there's buildings in what they call Africa that are, you know, hundreds of years old, if not thousands of years old, that they know that the blacks who were there before took and built? Look at this. Look at this. These are not, once again, the savages that used to come and go on raiding parties killing white people, the Gullah Wars that people want to bring up ever so colorfully, right? Even the Seminole Wars that people bring up ever so colorfully, right? They have to appreciate the fact that slaves have been running away for a long time. And when the white man first touched down here and was very friendly, you could say, with the natives here, they were beefing from day one because of the land encroachment. Okay, day one that was beef. All right, anything else is day two, but the day one beef is the encroachment of land. And because people overlook the fact that they took something from these people, this gives them the feeling of being a righteous victim. They have the right to be vindictive. They really do. So this is why you have certain black people who are so connected to America, because realistically, more than likely, their bloodline goes back to somebody who is an Aboriginal from this land. So they feel differently about, like, I don't give a damn about America. I could give two fucks. But somebody who is of this land, right? Their bloodline is literally tied to this land ultimately for thousands of years, not just for the last 400. They're going to feel way differently about being enslaved. They're going to feel way differently about retribution. And people need to take this into account. This is why certain manners of slaves are considered hostile. And then they had other manners of slaves that were considered the exact opposite. The only thing that Aboriginal blacks, who I call the Gentiles, some of the Hamites, some of the Hamtiles who are Middle Earth things mixed with the Hamites, the Semtiles and the Semites who were here as slaves, the only thing they had in common, and the Japhetites, was that they were like, fuck slavery. That's it. That's all that they had in common. They were not trying to be no slave. But once the Semite mixed with the Hamite blood, because the Canaanite or the Canaanite blood would allow for servitude to sit in, which is that docile spirit of servitude. Can you dig it? Which is why you're like that, just in case you didn't know. This is why it happened as such. This is why you had certain black people who were like, shit, master taking good care of me, because in their mind, they're biologically hardwired to be a servant. These are things that you read the Bible, look at and acknowledge, but will overlook in your everyday life. This is why I can't congeal with everybody. I can't talk with everybody, because to throw a bunch of facts at somebody, so-called facts, is one thing, right? But to use the information fruitfully, where it can actually be applied, is a whole other thing. This is why I have these pictures so you can see them. Look at this dude right here with the Illuminati weirdo hand symbol or whatever, right? Standing right there while the Aboriginal then killed the white dude. He's like, I'm not about to do nothing, because he's probably afraid for his life. Look at these Aborigines, so-called Aboriginals. So look at the guy off to the right, the darkest one, looking crazy as I don't know what. The two guys in the front are the face for the Aboriginals, the lighter ones, and the lesser dark ones are behind them. Now, what's just awkward is because, once again, these guys are being used as the face of Aboriginals, but how did they get so light? And why are they considered Aborigines over the people that are actual Aboriginals? Really? So again, this must be in Africa. You can just tell this because the hair's different. These are actual black looking people. Little boy holding what looks like an iPad, and they're totally amazed. Anyway, I'm over that. I just love that. Things like that make me excited, even though I know that's witchcraft and blah blah blah. You know, that just shows you that people are genuinely, you know, creatures of intrigue. I can't say learning, but we are creatures of intrigue, and things that make us interested. We want to see what they're about, and that goes for any person. You know, any so-called human on this planet. Look at this Aboriginal tribe of people. Now, it's not very clear, but just by looking, I can tell that they grow straight hair. Not a very big deal to a whole lot of people. Big deal to me. Once again, what genetic feature, other than somebody being mixed with the blood, let's say, of certain animals that have straight hair, how could you introduce that to a population? It's impossible. No matter what you tell me. Fard Muhammad said that black people lived in the jungles and had straight hair, or before they lived in the desert had straight hair, and they went to the jungles of Africa, and then the wild climate just made it get bushy like that. But that doesn't explain nothing, because there's black Africans right now who've been in Africa for forever that still have straight hair. So that kills any form of that argument off. The argument killed itself. But because he was dealing with imbecile black people, he could tell them anything. Look at these people. Look, once again, facial hair formation, but also facial symmetry. Look at the dude who's 1, 2 to the. He would be number 2 coming in from the right, but he's off to the left, so he's the second guy to the left. There's people that you know that look very similar like this in the face, so-called brothers. The guy standing right next to him with his hand on his head. There's brothers that look similar to this too. There's islanders that look more similar to that, but there's brothers that look like that also. So we have to understand that these blacks and these islanders have been blood mixing for so long that this is why they look at these dudes. You know, brothers that look just like this dude right here on the right-hand side. Only they have an afro to finish it off with a beard, and they look like these dudes all look like brothers in a way, all of them, and they're probably mixed to some degree with that kind of blood, with that true Jaffa type blood over there in those islands. I wouldn't put it past it. These look like white people who done painted themselves, because they really ain't that color. So again, more inbred people. Look how their hair grows. But you call them black. Not you, but you know, the general black person. You call them black. Think nothing about it. Please, mother sucker, please. Where was this at? Where was this at? When did this happen? Look how light skinned they are to be all shackled up. The one dude with his hands between them, like he looked just like a white person, just like one. Well, I'm like, is this Photoshop? But I don't think it is. But it's just one of those things where it's like, how? Once again, where was this at? If they're calling these dudes Aboriginals or anything, once again, look how white they are. Not yo people. These are not your people. Don't even try to tell me they are. Where we at? Nope. Burning of Jamestown. That's funny. Here's a good one. Look at this. This is the closest one to so-called people even having what you would think is an afro. But these are the guys in the pictures that I've already showed you who have the thicker, curlier hair. Coarse looking, but not coarse. Those are them. These aren't black people. Right on. Once again, look how their bodies are built. They're not built like my people. They're not built like people that I know. Physically, they don't look the same. Even when malnourished, we don't look like that. We look different. Our bodies are, people look skinny. Skinny is skinny. You can't change that. But malnourishment does change how other people look, and everybody doesn't look the same when they haven't been eaten. Going to this next little slide of pictures. Oh, wow, this is a beautiful one right here. They're about to eat that dog. You know, they're about to eat that dog. Look at these two dudes. And I'm going to tell y'all something. You've probably seen black dudes who look very similar to these guys. Look how high up the other guy's facial hair grows. He's an Aboriginal. Right on. This is why I'm always like, I don't know, by having that full drab. Look how thick and wide the beard grows. That's why I can't say having a full drab like that is what makes you an Israelite, because these guys grow full beards and they look black. And they don't identify with any of that history other than being a damn slave. More Aboriginals. Look at these dudes. Do these look like your people? Nope. Nope. You're going to call them your people. But this dude, he dark skinned. This is a drawing. Do they look like your people? Nope. Sure don't. Get these so-called Eskimos. Don't look like, they're dark skinned, but don't look like no black people. Not even close. Aboriginal. Oh, poor shit. Looks like a crocodile because the snout is wider. Messed up crocodile. Yeah, look at these guys. Now look how hardy this Aboriginal dude is, right? Even though he's a little older, right? See what I'm saying? I couldn't put whatever on it that he's of a different stock of Aboriginal, but I will put something on it that he's not. He's not of the same kind of stock that you see of other guys who just their chests aren't that broad, their arms aren't that big, their bodies don't look like that. That looks like a brother almost. You feel me? Like he looked like a brother out there, only with straighter type hair. So that could easily be a Jaffa type mixed in. Easily be. It's just one of those things that, because I'm looking at it and it means that much to me, I'm going to go that hard for it. And once again, everybody can be like, well, what's the facts? What are the facts? The facts are somebody else made those facts up. That's the facts, Demi. I want you to see shit. When you can see it, then you can say something then. You can't say anything about something you haven't seen yet. It's hard to speak on that, you know. It's hard to speak on the devastation of opium if you've never seen it. I live in a state where, you know, like people can say whatever. Washington State has probably some of the most opioid users in the country. And the reason why they won't come up as illegal, because a lot of them have prescribed medication given to them that make them dope addicts. Look at this picture right here. Look how thick, once again, this guy over here is, right? Look how thick all these dudes right here are, right? They're not built the same. They're not built like the other Aboriginals. Look at this physical constitution matters. I need this picture. I need this. This is a good one. That's a really good one. That matters. Look how thick that dude is. He's huge. You know, we've been seeing pictures of emaciated, starved-looking dudes all day who look like they were free. So just know. Just look at these people. Look how they're built. Once again, look at the differences and how they're built to the picture we was just looking at. Way different. They're built way physically different. Every dude in this picture is a hardy looking dude. Every one of them. Not hardy looking or thicker looking because you didn't got old and your body done filled out. What kind of animal this is. He's about to get the treatment. All right. Let's keep it pushing. Beautiful picture right here. I love it. Look at this Aboriginal man. His child is almost the same tone as him. Straight hair, dark eyes, right? Another really good picture. Look how dark they are. Look at that. I mean, this is a beautiful picture. Beautiful people. This is a beautiful picture. But this illustrates everything that I've been speaking of. The straight hair, the features. I know black people who in the face look similar to any one of these people. Black people that look similar to any one of these people. And yet, once again, because the range of not understanding is so profound between black folks, you know, I can't prove any of this stuff. They don't want to hear that. You know, they don't want to hear that. Look at this dude right here. He's way closer to being a brother than anything else. This is why he got his hair cut. Okay? Can you dig it? And he's a Jaffa type. If he's on the islands over there, he's a Jaffa type. There's no way I'm going to be like, oh, he's a Semite first or a Hamite. No, he's a Jaffa type. That's a brother, though. So he shares similar genetic material with you over anybody else. This is why he don't look like these people. This is why this same guy right here doesn't look like this guy. And these people, right on, even though they're Aboriginals, even though, once again, this same guy right here doesn't look like this man. Can you dig it? Nor does this man look like this group. Can you dig it? This is a brother. I'm saving this picture. Wonderful picture. He's going to become the face of Japhet. Little do we know. Look at this. This is crazy. I'm going to have to go ahead and save this. I like this. Boom, bing, ba, boom. Look at all this stuff. I'm just going to keep going. This is also one of my favorite pictures. I love this picture right here. I love this picture a lot. It speaks volumes to skin tone not being a damn thing. This is probably the closest color to the Aboriginals that you're going to see, right? You know, like that. This is closer to their darker tone. Once again, how does the one sister over there, so-called, have bushy, woolly looking hair almost, but none of them do. Not one of them. All their hair falls down. Does that not strike you guys as odd? Just a little bit? Just a little bit? And she looks more like a sister than everybody else. Even though I know that you've seen black dudes who have this, once again, the same face, only put an afro on them, and that's the black dude that you know. So this is just things like that you have to look at and really appreciate that these people are not your people once again, but they've been blood mixing for a long time. Show you a picture real quick of these little boys from Papau. Look at these little boys, right? Look at them. I could point out to you and tell you which ones obviously have some like some real cut in them. Like the little boy that's number 5, number 6 behind them, or 7, whoever that is. Most of these boys got a little cut in them. Number 1, he got a little cut in him. These other 2 little boys right here in the middle just look like guys who are going to grow up to have funny color looking afros and being black. So it's just one of those things where these people here on this island have blood mixed with Aboriginals who look not only like these people, but look something like these people, right on, and then something look like themselves. This is why they've maintained their look for so long. This is why they're still dark skinned, because they've been blood mixing with dark skinned people. If they've been blood mixing with lighter skinned people, they would be lighter skinned by trait of virtue. By trait of virtue, they're still bearded because they've been blood mixing with bearded people. So when you see a non-bearded, you know, Melanesian, that's because they come from a stock of people that's not from the same stock that you're looking at. Look at this. Prime example. Prime example. Look at how this dude's hair grows. And I know y'all don't seen black people who look just like this dude. Look at him. Appreciate this kind of stuff. Appreciate that picture with that dude. That's an Aboriginal with thick, almost coarse-like hair. So you know what he's mixed with overall, right? He's got the good kind of cut in him, not the bad kind of cut. So when I say some cut, once again, that's just a term for I know that they're not full whatever. Once again, I don't think anyone is, but you can look closer to the part and not be it. Like, look at these people, all non-coarse hair, but very dark skin. Some of them look more inbred, some of them don't. The dude sitting down right there. People know black dudes who look just like this dude in the face. Put a fro on that dude, that's a brother. That quick. I'm done with this. I'm done with the pictures for right now for a second. I'm going to go and start looking at what people have been talking about, and we're going to have a conducive conversation. So, what up, Roger Spice? What up, Adrian Smith? How y'all doing? I don't know how to come up at this stuff any more than what I've done. Our history is truly in our DNA. Truly it is. But this is written once again, outside of, like the books that I read by so-called scholars. This is our life. This is why we act the way that we act. And this has been told to us in the Bible. And no book approaches it with the kind of approach that it has. And we're talking about, once again, man, all the black in the world, all these different kinds of black people. And say what you like. Feel how you'd like to feel. You still have to show me something. You're not gonna just tell me something and then show me nothing. That's not how this is working. That's not how I operate. That's not what I just did. Do you guys want to hear about Aboriginal history and really hear about things that it doesn't matter. It doesn't change what I just showed you. I could tell you everything I want to tell you about them. It doesn't change anything what I just showed you. Some of the history that I will go over, with these people, maybe not right this moment. In my soon to be done piece about Sim, when I finish that one, I want to do one about Noah, and I really want to. I gotta really poke at Noah's bloodline, and point out how some of the people that that once again you probably think are Adamites are not Adamites. And I would be hard pressed to believe it. I would be hard pressed to believe it. And nothing to do with you, it's everything to do with me. 1 second, let me pull my screen back up again. Boom, 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 boom. 1 moment. Get another window for the internet opened up. Bam. So, we're gonna go. Caves and Middle Earth. Just a general thing, real quick. Images. Moment. Bam. Let's look at. Let's find some stuff. And I know people want, if you find this stuff really funny, I talk about Middle Earth all the time. Yeah, they made some of the best-selling movies ever are about Middle Earth, called Lord of the Rings. I learned something interesting the other day from Wavy Ben Israel. He said he had did some research on the word galaxy, and I'll look into it, a little bit. But I normally take a person at face value because only liars go out of the way to lie. And he said the word galaxy actually means on our planet, within our Earth, within our Earth is what galaxy actually means. The term galaxy in the planet. Just something I wanted to throw out there. Let's look. Okay, so look at this right here. This is a made-up cave from Lord of the Rings, right? Where would they get this? I want y'all to really follow me for a second. You're talking about white people who claim to be master farmers, yet they destroyed the land, totally destroyed the soil in the United States. They destroyed it. They totally destroyed it. Where would they get the idea of Middle Earth caverns, and these motherfuckers can't even keep food in their stomachs? And you're talking about they have that much creativity? I want you to really think about what I'm saying for a moment. That's just like the concept of going to go get black aboriginals who are running around butt ass naked, who ain't building shit to come build something for you. It makes absolutely no sense. It's absurd. Yet, because people don't have to have any merit, and the facts don't need merit anymore. The facts are the facts. You know what used to be a fact? Black people didn't have souls. We were missing fucking members of the goddamn ape family. Okay, animals, animals. They are animals. I tell you, that used to be facts. Facts, as you niggas like to say. I don't ever say facts to people like that. Truth, maybe, but the facts are relative to who's telling the story. And by what merit and nature of the story that they're telling it from. So a lot of people don't want to hear that's what it is. Look, Middle Earth expedition with Everest. This is Mount Everest. Okay? Or Mexico. My bad. No. Go back. Look at this. Look how far down that shit is, y'all. Look how far down that is. Look how perfect those cuts are on that rock. Perfect. As if it was made just for you to be able to climb up out of there or to climb down to there. You see what I'm saying? A lot of caverns are built like this, like where you can tell that somebody went and forcibly made it to where it was habitable. Look at the fact that there's moss in these caverns. There's vegetation. So vegetation can be accomplished with very little sunlight. Because you see where the sunlight's at in this thing, the vegetation is plush. So vegetation is also accomplishable. Understand, these people are not telling you anything brand new. Everything they're saying is old. It's older than dirt. It's just the fact that it's been not spoke on for so long, it's easy to overlook. I ain't never seen this one. This is a filthy ass picture. Oh my goodness, this is tight. That look like a jellyfish. I don't know what that is, y'all. I don't know if that's in the water or if that's on the earth. Like I really can't tell. That's cracking. You see what I'm saying? Little things like that blow my mind. Look at Nat Geo. Once again, look at this cave, y'all. This is a cave, yo. And riddle me this, Batman and Batwoman. If Pangea was one piece, like I'm saying it was, before and after the flood, right? Especially before the flood, how did the water get inside of these caverns? Unless you're talking about the water coming from the deep, right? Hold on. How did the water get in these caves? Unless, once again, the planet was being flooded and the small crevices allowed the water in. So as so not to drown the people, you understand, or to cause any problems like that, but most definitely so that way the water could be housed somewhere. They have to have water, don't they? Clean drinking water is part of surviving in life. Once again, I know people are like, what does this have to do with Middle Earth? Some of these things came back to topsoil with the same damn beefs. Might have been petty in the middle of the planet. Thousands of years later, the shit not so, it don't look so, it's still petty. It's still a petty, like, you stole a fish from me and we're beefing it out in Middle Earth, and this shit turns into a full-blown, like, actual, like, blood feud that turns into a full-blown, like, all-out war on the planet right now. It doesn't seem that simple, but it's really that simple. Because what would have stopped the children of the fallen, these Nephilim things? And you can't say anything crazy because it's the Most High Spirit that's actually within those things. So what would stop them? Like, what makes them not want to actually just live on earth and just say, you know what, I'll just live on earth. I'll just be peaceable. What makes that? A feud, something that a beef, and one you're not willing to let go of. Right. How would you feel if you lived in Middle Earth for hundreds of years and you survived by the freaking skin of your teeth, and then all of a sudden your people are in power on top Earth, and the dudes who used to persecute you are now a lowly class on top Earth? You might try to eradicate the world of them. It's already happened to many different groups of races of people. We'll never know about them. They're gone, yo. They're gone over Middle Earth beefs that happened thousands of years ago. You'll never know nothing about pre-flood beefs that went to Middle Earth that got heads rocked, and people don't even look at this stuff. They're just, you're so busy wanting to know what the Bible says. You got to think about, why would they come here and the first thing they want to do is start warring with each other? Why would you do that? There's no logical effort in that. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense. Once again, unless you can't let the shit go. Let's keep it pushing. Hold on, let's go back. Look at this picture. See, these are the ones right here that normally get me. Look, are these depicted as white people? Nope. Centaur honor guard. They're looking like black dudes, and they looking like niggas with no facial hair, and they looking like these black Indians that you've been seeing. I'm not dissing nobody. Look at them. That's what they look like. Tell me online. Somebody tell me online right now. Somebody tell me that that's where. Somebody tell me that's not where straight hair come from. Think I'm lying. This shit is crazy. And we're just looking at pictures of caves. How did a centaur come up looking for pictures of caves in Middle Earth unless they know that they come from Middle Earth? Dude, look at the big picture. This shit is crazy. How did they know that? Well, why would they even bring up the centaur? And I'm talking about caves in Middle Earth. Unless, once again, if you know anything about the centaurs, they come from the mountains, which means that they came up out of the cave of the mountains. This is how they proceeded downwards. However, we're not going to get carried away, none of that. Don't even care. Look at this giant rock formation to this little, this makes this person who could be really tall himself look so little. Middle Earth is real. I mean, Middle Earth. This is just that's man. That's like top crust of Middle Earth. You know what I mean? The stuff we're seeing people mess with, all the stuff where you still see the light, that's top crust. That's nothing. That's nothing. This stuff right here, all this top crusting, that's nothing. Top crust, that's nothing. You feel me? These are all surface pictures, and yet they're far down into the earth already. So imagine what I'm talking about when I'm saying, like, these dudes come from the real middle of the planet. There was no saving them. There was no saving them. I believe that the idea maybe the Most High had was that they would kill each other down there in Middle Earth and never make it if the children of Noah had just did what he told them to do, which is eat the reptile and kick it. Maybe. I will never know. You will never know. All we can do now is speculate. And I say to all my people, you'd be so much far better suited to have prophesied a year early than to be speculating a year late. In any case and situation, it's always better to have said something than to have said nothing at all. Than to go back on it once again as a speculator. Oh, I've seen that coming. What good does that do anybody? So speak up if you know something. Here we go. One moment. I'm gonna pull up one of my little links while we're here. Let's see real quick. So let's pull these up real quick. Pull up Disclosed TV. I like this one. Again, this is just the Makuzis, right? This is just one group. Let's open up another window and get another one with some Indians. Blah, 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 blah. Bam. Bam. Here we go. And once again, I don't. There's not such a need for me to get to new websites and to get new information so much as it is to just read and reiterate the same information over and over. So this Makuzi tribe, right? I want you to understand something. Look at what they say, coming right off rip. These inhabitants are descendants of the sun god, giants, of the sun god giants. So being that they are children of these Nephilim, can you dig it? How did they get there? Easy. While they were still gigantic ass things on this planet, they burrowed all kinds of holes in the caves so that way their children, their little brothers, their cousins, their uncles, their mamas, their sisters, their daddies, whoever could live through the flood. They went through a cave, and 13 to 15 days later, they reached inner Earth. Now that sounds good, but that didn't explain anything. The Makuzi have another role by protecting the cave entrance and preventing others from entering Middle Earth. The inside of this world is very bright, light and sunlight. Question: how the fuck would you know that unless you've been there? Right. So somebody saying this, they either know somebody who's been there or they've been there themselves. You can't say that and not have been there or be or it has that's like vicariously saying that to me. Like, no, for a fact, bruh, I know there's light and sunlight in there. And this is what people don't understand. Light and sunlight and the moonlight are all not the same, which is why the Father made the sun to dictate the greater light and the moon to dictate the lesser light. However, hey, here nor there. Here we go. They're saying even in this underworld, fruits, oaks, mangoes, bananas, and other plants can be grown. Now understand, it didn't say what fruits were, right? But notice that it put mangoes and bananas in their own classification and other plants. See, little things like that you have to look at. That the people understand that the genus of a banana is closer to that of an herb, a mango. Believe it or not, because it's heavily pitted the way that it is, it probably has a genetic constitution that's closer to all pit related things: the plum, the cherry, the avocado, peach, nectarine. What else is there? Apricot, right? Even though they look different, taste different. This is just little things. And you can obviously read it yourself and see, so you're probably like, why won't he go down? But look, this is what they believe, though. Their belief in the underworld, right? Look, it says it's interesting to see that the sun is incorporated in the underworld, right? Who is to say what put that there, or who put that there? If that's a natural occurrence on the planet. See what I'm talking about? If it's even a real sun. I can't speculate that. I don't have enough time. What comparisons can be done to other tribes or religions? Do other groups have similar oral stories like these? What traits do Makuzi Indians use in their everyday life? Do they have the same crops that were in the underworld? So they're saying pretty much, did they bring some of the stuff from the underworld to topsoil? It's a good question. Where do the earthly lives intertwine with the spiritual and underworld life? Listen, Hades, the true underworld, right? When I talk about Middle Earth, that's the underworld. They're totally different. These dudes might be protecting or have some kind of grounds on the underworld protection and not so much Middle Earth. And this is where we have to, but just know that what they're talking about with these guys is from Middle Earth is where they're from. You know what I'm talking about? That's what they're saying for these knuckleheads. No matter how we feel about it, that's what it is. And excuse me. Thank you. It has to be once again accounted and looked at. Agartha, once again, these are just this is basic, right? But this is another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7. 7 different groups outside of the Makuzi were brought up. You see what I'm saying? 7 different groups. So it just tells you that these people, once again, they're not the Makuzi Indians. They're not talking about dudes who are in Central America. They're talking about people who are in Native America, North America, as you would say. Look, y'all, and all of them talking about coming from Middle freaking Earth. All of them. Read it yourself. Read it yourself. I'll let it sit there. But really come to the and I've read this to you in other videos, but I want you to see it yourself. So that way you understand that I'm not trying to pull the Woolesky over your eyes. Got nothing to prove, you know. The reason why I can't respond to anything everybody's saying right now because I got to go from here to here and look and see, and nothing's going on. So back to business. So look at this. It's telling you. They say I can't make this up. Do you think the Native Americans that are telling these stories, where would they have gotten the time to have made it up to where they all are telling a similar story, the same story? Right. I mean, think about it. Listen, all living things came from the underground. That's the most powerful one, the Panwi statement, because they're acknowledging that everybody outside of Noah's immediate family came from Middle Earth after the flood. It couldn't get any better than that. You can't get any more recognition than that. You know. Now, when you guys are reading this right here, right? Read this part with a grain of salt because they're trying to congeal Middle Earth, Hades, the underworld, whatever. They're trying to make them the same, but they're not. They're not the same. They're different. But because the people who are listening to these accounts aren't bringing together wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and a collective effort, they'll never understand. They never will. They never will. They'll never get it. And that's their own problem. That's their own fault. Let's just look at this right here real quick. According to Inca legends, the first of the Inca race were 4 brothers and 4 sisters who were said to have emerged from a cavern close to Cuzco. What? Are you hearing me? 4 bros, 4 sisters. Well, if they're brothers and sisters, obviously, you know how they made babies. Once again, this is why a lot of these races of people will practice these ways. You see what I'm saying? I can't make you accept that. I can't make you accept that the Most High would say things to people like, don't go into the ways of these people, don't practice their devices, don't walk in their ordinances. If things like these weren't taking place, there'd be no reason to tell you, don't shave the corner of your beards, nor shave the sides of your head, nor any of that kind of stuff, right? If you didn't, number one, if you didn't grow hair, number two, if you didn't grow a beard, all right? It would be a waste of time. What kind of sense does that make for the Most High to tell you something that you can't do in the first place? Right. There we go. Give me 1 second. So, and this is where we have to, tie together outside of Black people real quick. Let me just go ahead and just read something to you about early. This is where I crush them all. Because all these dudes you're reading about that I was just reading about, like those natives right there, those specific natives, they're all Indo-Europeans. Okay. Listen. The origins of the Germanic tribes is lost in the sands of time. What little is known is based upon linguistic evidence. The Germanic languages belong to the Indo-European family of languages that span Eurasia from Ireland on the west to India on the east. Are you understanding this? This is huge. The origin of Indo-European languages is believed to have been in the merger of three peoples in the region between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. And let's just think about Middle Earthers. Let's think about these little red skin things that you see in the pictures for so-called Egyptians and all kinds of other sorts of people. Let's go to the fact that Native Americans have been shown to be related genetically to some of these so-called ancient Egyptians. These are things to look at and to think about. Well, who are these three races, y'all? They're saying one obviously excelled in warfare, another in agriculture, another one in metalworking. Those are the three things that they needed to congeal together with, because all by themselves they didn't have it. You understand? Now, if I wanted to be really, really facetious, I could say the one that excelled in warfare is the straight up fallen Nephilim seed. The one who excels in agriculture is the true Adamite seed, seeing that he's the first cultivator of land. His children are natural cultivators of the land. And then the one in metalworking would be the process of blood that is, I would say, from Cain, because Cain's children, one of his grandsons is the first known metalworker, Jubal, if I'm not mistaken. Let me find him real quick and I'll read his name real fast because I got my Septuagint right here. Here we go. Verse 22 of chapter 4. And Selah also bore Tobel. He was the smith, a manufacturer, both of brass and iron. So when I read that to you, my understanding is that the first people to do metalwork are also from the Adamite bloodline. So two of these people, you could argue, are from the Adamite bloodline, arguably. And then the other one would be the Nephilim seed, congealing with them to bring together the skills that they need to create a conducive society. Without these things, they wouldn't have what they have, you see? Well, if white people were natural gardeners like they claim to be, and they're not, they would never starve where there's places with plush soil. It's impossible. It's impossible. Yet they do. Yet they have. Yet they did. So, something to think about. Is there anything else I need from this? Okay, look, this is crazy. Let's read this right here real quick. The first written record of Germanic tribes was by Roman historian Tacitus. I don't know how to say that nigga's name. In 98 BCE. Understand me. Understand me. There's language used in this same thing. And it doesn't make any sense until you get all the way down. Let's get past the Romans and getting smashed on by these giant white people, right? The king of the Franks, Clovis, ruled over the mixed Celtic, Roman, German population. Bam, bam, bam. That's how, if they weren't the same people, okay? If they weren't the same people, or excuse me, if they were the same people, that wouldn't be like that, okay? It wouldn't tell you that they were mixed. They're not the same. Can you dig it? This is why you have Germans right now to this day. The true Germans didn't start off blonde hair, blue eye. That's a lie. That's a lie that they can tell you. Once again, the earth is dominated by dark hair, dark eyed people, no matter what color their skin is. So it's just one of those things for you to think about is how does a recessive ass genetic survive thousands of years around people with dominant genetics unless they isolate themselves? Right, because they understand that they have a weak genome that can be washed out. Well, literally washed out. So the same way that they can make people white, You don't have you don't even have to make the planet black. All you have to do is just either outbreed them or just stop breeding with them altogether, and they would die off. They don't have the natural constitution, health-wise, to have a lot of babies. The reason why they were able to have a whole bunch of babies later on in America is because the Rh positive genetics that they inherited by blood mixing eventually worked themselves out. But this is why they were known to having kids that were deformed and ugly and all kinds of messed up, because they were mixing the bloods that were not compatible with one another. This is how it works. However, let's get up out of here. Let's go to the Legends of Mount Shasta real quick, yeah? Okay. Let's hope that it's not going to be too hard on me. One moment. Let's read this. When the wise gods first arrived on this continent, they handed down traditions to us that was inhabited by a giant race of people when they first came. One moment. No. Why are you doing this to me? Okay, here we go. These giants were represented by the Waskas as being very swarthy in complexion. One moment, just in case y'all know what that word means. You have Liam. What? Dark skin? What? Olive skin? What? Dusky? Tan? Saturnine? Black? Arcade? Please, mother suckers. Please. So when you hear stories about people talking about big white giants running around all over this motherfucker, you got to know what you're talking about. It was an age when large animals roamed the earth, and it seemed birds and fowls were all very large in size. It appeared to be the first age. It was the age of giants. Stop. The very first people, including Adam himself, were much larger than normal men. The earth was surrounded by water. As Mr. Scribe has said before, hell a long time ago, so this is almost 3 years ago, the earth was covered and it made it almost like a hyperbolic place. You know how people grow up in the mountains and they get that pure oxygen, and they either grow up to be bigger or their muscle endurance is better. However, this is the same concept, only the earth is cocooned with water. This is why they're so much bigger. It was said God became displeased with them and destroyed them, and they all perished from the earth. The Indians' name for the giant race was Papelene, which means people who have died and passed away. To the American Indian, reminiscence of a Yurok woman, 1916. Why would she say that? But y'all already know what I've already said about giants and the four giants, right on, who tried to destroy the earth. Bing, bing, bop, boom. 1 second. I want a peaceful transition back to my camera. This is where we're at. This is where we're at. That right there is this is a majority of it. You know. Of course they're coming back, sister. You know. Roderick Smith, what did you say about straight hair, brother? I'm just now. 1 second. Well, bro, they took over certain races and whitewashed them. That's easy to say, but once again, though, when you look at the term Indo-European, we'll understand that they're not exactly white people. This is why I come with the satyrs and the centaur talk. And once again, let me go ahead and share the screen one more time. Let's go ahead and pull up some stuff about that. Okay, one moment, because this matters. You know, this does matter, and it's easy for a person who is not involved in this stuff or whatever to open their mouth and say anything reckless. But it's just like I've spent a long time looking at this. Satir images. I want you to look at these things, right? we're gonna start with this little miscreant right here. This is how they always show them with their penises exposed, whatever, because they're always in need of sex, apparently. Right on. This explains the sexual deviant behavior of some of the people that we've been around for such a long time. Now, these pictures obviously won't illustrate everything that I want to illustrate, but just look though. Just understand that the animalistic nature of these people has been chronicled for such a long time. Now, I know that you don't want to hear this right here, right? But this is a satyr who looks almost normal, right? So if I bring up a picture of a nymph and satyr, look, they come up together. They come up together. Look, if this little goat thing has a baby by this thing that looks human but really isn't, what is the baby going to look like other than a human? Right. Tell me that. Riddle me that, somebody. You know? And once again, right now, I can't see the comments, so bear with me. Look, she's got feet, he's got hooves. What are the chances that if they had a baby, and that could be their baby right there, that the baby would have regular feet? Look just like a human. Come on, man. Really, like, talk to yourself on this one. I'm going to pull up the centaur in a second. Little rapist-ass dudes. This is where they get this shit from. This is where they got this from. Their indiscriminate sexual behavior comes from what they really are. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that these dudes is not really humans. Sometimes the satyr is not. Once again, look at this satyr. He's a normal human, but he still has the same. He looks like a human, but he has the same sexual appetite. One second. Once again, I know that this isn't exactly the most popular thing. You know what I'm saying? Centaur and satyr. Look at this shit. They've been warned for a long time. So if I just pick, let's say, the centaur and the satyr for the warlike people, right? And then your metal worker is your Adamite, right? Who came up out of Middle Earth, looking like who knows what. And then your agriculturalist is also your Adamite. And then they blood mix with these things. Once again, they have to keep their stock pure enough by mixing with the nymph blood to keep. You see how white the nymphs are? So this is my assumption, is that people with that kind of skin come from similar or like bloodlines. I can't think of which two deities made the nymphs, but they themselves are in as such. Look at this. Oh, faggots. Oh, a couple of homosexuals. And y'all wonder where these white boys get this buddy, lovey shit from, man. Come on, dude. Man, y'all better learn, bro. Y'all better get it right. Look, the dude back there's a satyr. So he's got a towel covering himself up, right? These other guys are centaur. And they make him seem normal or however. Notice he's got a blonde tail. The white boy's got a blonde tail because they got yellow hair. Come on, man. This bullshit. Look at this. They try to make it seem so cool, but it's not. But this is where they're from. Don't think that those black people that you're looking at with straight hair don't come from something very similar. Because when I start pulling up pictures of a black Zeus, black centaurs, and black satyrs, don't get upset. Because that's what this essentially is about. Is showing you that they were black also. You know, some of the most ultimate villains on this planet are black people. Some of the worst motherfuckers right now are niggas. Period, hands down. Esau is a piece of shit. You understand that? He's not good people. He's a nigga. He is not good people. Look, he about to crush this damn. Look, man, I got to say this one. He about to crush his head. He about to straight crush that satyr's head. Yeah, it's over. He's crushed. He's dropped. But look how their hair is similar. Their facial hair is similar. These are once again two different creatures who come from totally different happenings. You know, uh, they're once I in the video Hidden Ancestry, I cover this in full detail. And I actually read a whole lot of the articles and stuff like that I didn't go over reading today. But just look at this stuff though. Just look. This is what we're dealing with, and because people don't want to say that, you know what, their hair probably does come from there. I wouldn't doubt it. You know what I mean? They don't want to say that. They don't want to be real with themselves. That's too much. You know. And look, these are warlike creatures, both of them. The centaur and the satyr. The satyr is always put off as being a sexual miscreant deviant, but in all actuality, he's just as much of a warrior as the centaur. In all actuality. Let me go up here real quick. One time. Black. That ain't no nigga. Let's skip forward. You see how yeah, I don't even know, man. I don't even know how to explain it. Look at these homosexual ass dudes. Anyway, this explains everything. That explains everything right there. That one picture explains it all. And I know you guys are like, how? That explains them. That's where this explains them, literally. Talking about two effing animals been bred into the damn human genome. Look at the so-called black chick. I love it. I love it. Is her hair straight? Not exactly, but is it poofy? Nope. Man. This is a very, 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 very difficult situation to deal with. I don't know what to say. I don't know what most to say. I don't know what else to say to you guys, you know. Like, let me show this message. Tammy Browser, how you doing, sister? Yeah, they do smell like that when their hair gets wet. But I mean, I'm not the one to. No, thank you. I appreciate you. Oh, no. That wasn't Brokeback Mountain. That was a female centaur and a male satyr. Right on. So that was just me trying to show you guys that those things have been making babies for who knows how long. The term Gentile literally means, in my mind, a consortium of beings. Do you see why I say a consortium now? It could be why they like the horse so much. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. It's complicated, you know. But once again though, this is from a brother who. Not exactly. The Reese monkey come from bruh. These little nasty mother suckers. These little nasty mother suckers. I can't even stress like how disgusting they are. You know, let me go ahead and send a little link real quick. So if anybody want to hop up in this joint, hold on a second. One moment. Copy. Oh, hold on. Invite people. Haha. There we go. Copy. Paste. Why is it just nasty? No, that's who they are, Tammy. That's who they are. It don't got to be just nasty. That's just what they are. That's what they are as people. I'm not gonna be mad at them because they're nasty, you know, or I perceive them to be nasty. I'm just gonna distance myself from people who believe or practice such activities. It's unwise for us as people, once again, to commingle with these kinds of folks and then not think that anything could happen. You know, anything can happen, you know, at any given time. But it's just being aware of these kinds of information and where it comes from because all the sources aren't the same. All the sources don't have the same ideals in mind. But when they speak very similar messages, it says a lot to what they've, to the great lengths they've gone to covering everything up. Roger Spice always talks about, how they've gone to great lengths. Me and him speak about it, but he always says it in his own way. But he's right. They've gone to extreme measures to making it sure as if that people overlook everything that they've done, and they would rather be accounted for as evil than non-human. Remember that. They would always rather you call them evil than call them non-humans. All right? Keep that in your mind. Oh, no, I'm not sure if they think they're special because they have RH negative. They know they're different because they have RH negative. We can give them the special title to be generous to them, but to be fair to ourselves, you and I, we all know that we all know. Anytime you can go and make a baby with somebody, and then, like, I'll give you a prime example. If a black man and a Mexican, right? And I'm talking about a straight Gentile Mexican go and have a baby, right? Some of these dudes be surprised when their sons don't grow no facial hair. And it's like, you went and got with the person who they're totally void of this ability. They don't have that ability. I could use a black native in the same breath, where a black person, Aboriginal or whatever, will go get with that native who has no facial hair, and then guess what's going on? Their baby don't have facial hair, or the baby has facial hair, and they're like, oh, this is crazy. They've done videos on their special powers. If they've done videos on their special powers, all that is just these people accounting for their wickedness. Okay? You know, they are they are some evil people. You really got to understand they're not good people, and and this goes into my 98 and 2 rule. And let me just hit up Roger Spice real quick when it says the caves are a way to hide from the sun. The caves are a way to hide from the sun, but if you're far enough down, the procession of water falling in would never drown you. Do you understand? It might fill up areas like we've seen, but it's not going to drown you. So it's a protection measure also. From that, as well as keeping away from the sun. And who knows why they would have, had needed to do that? I can't really say per se. I've had a ball doing this video. I'll probably share my screen here again here in a second, and check out some more pictures before I get ready to go ahead and pack it on up. Once again, this is I'm the proctor. That's all I've done. I've proctored the pictures. I've proctored the information. You get to see it. You for the most part, you got to read the stuff outside of my fancy schmancy book right here. Oh no, thank you, Roger Spice, man, bruh. Once again, man, I've learned so much from everybody. This has just always been, like a really, really fun. Oh man, I'm glad it was awesome, Roderick. I really, bro. I mean, I can't stress how long I've wanted to do this. Just like this, pretty much. Couple things I would do a little differently if I could, but like outside of like how I was able to like show you guys everything I was looking at, this, that, and the third. I totally love that. Because it's easy for me to say something to you and to have pictures in a video. It's a lot easier when we can isolate that picture and then just go all in on everything we're seeing, and then just once again, the whole point of this was to take notes. I hope you guys took note on how I look at these pictures. I hope you learn how I do stuff. That's right. Each one teach one. Adrian Smith, each one teach one. But we don't all believe in that. You know, we don't all believe in that. Some of us believe that the game is to be sold, not told. And I don't believe that per se, but I do believe that in order for you to convince a person of what it is that you're trying to say to them, at some point of this, you're selling this information to them. It's not so much for a profit, but the gain is that they understand, you see. So the game is to be sold, not told. Because if I tell you something and then you don't listen, if I sell it to you and you buy it, it's way different. That's why they say that. But these dudes who think they're deep don't even know how shallow they are, you know. And I'm not saying that I'm deep, you know, because I have my shallow moments all the time. So, you know, it's just, I don't know. It's a blessing. Oh no, we can't get on one accord. Look, y'all. I'm gonna share my screen again, right? And I'm gonna show you like a notification that I just got. And then this is the problem with people. I'm gonna show you like it's not so much a beef that I have as it is like it's an actual issue. You know, like I don't care what they say. It's an issue. One moment, because I just had some knucklehead tell me they enjoyed the video, then the person has a different view on what happened between Shem and Noah. And it's like, look, dude, what Bible are you reading from? You know? Um, 1 second. Oh, man. Oh, yep. Community. So I'm gonna go to this video after this when I get done doing this with y'all. Look, did not make it. Although Francisco did not make a definitive statement on the act, some important similarities are presented in both your hypotheses. More importantly, Francisco as well posits the distinct possibility of magic of some sort being practiced by common fact. He brings forth the position that Kam or Zoroaster are one and the same, and thus the father of Zoroastrianism. Hope these help you continue your work. Shalom. Listen, I'm going to like it. I'm going to love it just because I'm going to take information from this, right on? And I appreciate the fact that they come through to show me some love, right? And they're not being, to me, an ass, but it's just like, once again, the person that's saying whatever, they don't have a definitive stance on it because they don't what they're saying is what everybody else has been saying. I'm not saying what everybody's been saying. When I reach into Enochian sex magic, I'm reaching into what somebody else told me about Enochian sex magic. And then I'm thinking about who Enoch actually is. Enoch is the son of Cain. He's an Adamite, a pure thoroughbred Adamite. He's not watered down like Shem, Ham, and Japheth are. And if you can't appreciate that, don't. It's okay. You don't have to. But that's the difference between the two. You know, I have people who come and say stuff like that all the time. You know, and you know, it's like, you know, for somebody to tell me that there's somebody who's saying something similar, I'm gonna check out Francisco. More than likely, Francisco has a larger following than me. You know, gets more views, and I wouldn't be surprised if I hear something that only I've said come out of Francisco's mouth. Like a lot of people treat me like people treat Demetrius Antoine Jones like a dirty ass secret. Okay, they treat it as if listening to me and telling the world that you got it from this obscure dude is gonna hurt their actual credibility. You know, like it's the weirdest thing in the world. Watchmen reports. I promise to y'all, you can go back years and years and years and years and years and look at their videos. Years and years. They only recently said that Job was an Edomite, and I know I'm getting off tangent. They recently said that Job was an Edomite some months ago, right? You know who said that first? Right around a year ago? That before I ever heard anybody else ever say it, ever, period. I said it in a video saying that Job is an Edomite. Man, I'm happy that we all can grow together, bro. But we have to learn how to learn again. You see what I'm saying? We have to learn how to really discern information, to be very careful in our judgment. And then we have to learn what we don't know. Because knowing what we don't know is the only way to increase the knowledge. If I believe I know something that I don't, there's no room for increase. It was beautifully said in the movie The Avatar. It is hard to fill a glass which is already full. Thank you. I mean, that's one of the coldest lines ever in any movie, period. And I don't care to like, a woman said it or whatever. No. F all that. That is so real. It is hard to teach you something if you think you already know everything. You know. You know why what's up, D-Mac? You back again. It's okay. The book of Jasher can say what it likes. I never read the book of Jasher. Demetrius Antoine Jones read that in the Bible. I read that out of the Septuagint. It tells you that Job is an Edomite at the very end. His name is Jobab, who's the son of Esau, making him therefore an Edomite. However, that's not a big deal. Oh, Watchmen changed their style when YouTube changed the money policies. I believe that, Roger Spice. I believe that. And then, yeah, stealing from a dude like me is like the easiest thing for them to do because, you know, a lot of guys don't remember a couple years ago when Scribe once again was asking people to go and like, you know, accost them. When I accosted them, and it cost me, you know, I'm not gonna say it cost me any kind of viewership, but it most definitely hurt people's ability to want to watch videos that have 2 or 3 thumbs downs and maybe 1 or 2 thumbs up, where they think they're like, oh, this video is bullshit. I'm not gonna listen to what he's got to say. So it's easy to take from me, I'm so obscure, and to wait a couple months because they know I keep tabs on them. So they wait and wait and wait, and then they'll drop one. You know what I'm saying? You know, and so this is why we go through what we go through. You know, this is why there's so much beef. And once again, let's just go back to black people. Let's say this dude is an Aborigine. This guy's a Semite. What level do you think they're going to see anything the same other than the fact that they both have dark skin and have similar like features, but not exactly the same? I mean, does anybody like really follow what I'm getting at though? Like, this dude comes from the land of America, essentially. His people have been here for thousands of years. Your people just got here a few hundred years ago. You don't feel so connected to all this. You don't feel like you're like, nigga, I just want to leave America. Where he's like, he wants to stay here and he wants his peace. How could you promise 40 acres and a mule to people who had already been living on the land? That makes no sense whatsoever. But if you promise that to a person who was just coming here, yeah, that sounds like a cool little, that sounds like a good idea. That sounds like a good hit, you know? I understand you don't feel any connection. That's okay. That's okay, sister. But there's a lot of people who do feel the connection here, you know, because they're part that blood, half that blood, 3/4 that blood, sometimes full that blood, you know? And because they've been congealed into thinking that this society is proper or correct, they do what they do. Different DNA, but similar color. That's exactly what I've been trying to say, Roger Spice, the whole time, man. You know, that's exactly what I've been trying to say. And I'm glad that you guys, Roderick Smith, brother, I'm glad that you can dig it. I'm so glad because it's not easy to say what I'm saying. You know, I get tempted to just start to, you know, to just write the stuff down. I have pages. These are old notes. These are some of my first notes ever. But these are old notes, right? I have pages and pages of notes. You know, I don't want to get into that mindset where I have to write stuff down just to show it to you. You know, and then that being something that, you know, I want to. Oh yeah, they can stay here. Look, I'm with you. Whenever you get your ticket, sister, you let me know, because you let them know that I need one too. You need to punch one for my brother up there in Washington State. He's trying to get up out. We need a ticket for Rogers. We need a ticket for everybody right now who's kicking it, watching. Even if they ain't said nothing, we need a ticket for everybody. We all got to get up out of here, because between feeling depressed about these people, how they treat us every day, and the anger that manifests and swells within the body, this stuff can't be healthy. I know it's not healthy. There's no way. You know, you know, it's it's I don't know, it's a struggle on some levels, I guess, because once again, I'm saying something that I know people adhere to, and I know that they know it in their hearts and their souls, that we're all not the same. You know, if a Black African who looks similar to me and you can come here and tell us that you're not my people, you're not my brother, right? If they can come here and say that to you, how could it not be that, well, guess what? They're not your brother. They're not your people. You know, I'm so glad to see all this. What up, Martin Etta? Young homie, how you doing? I'm so glad to see, you know, this effort right here, you know. Because we're all together on this, right? We are family, you know. And it's about being able to separate ourselves, you know. It's just what it is, you know. We have to separate ourselves from all those people who want to be like everybody else, you know. And if I have to be the guy that they blame, if I've got to be the dude that they put it all on, all the blame, you know, then put the blame on Demetrius. Let them blame me for bringing dissension and separation to peoples that needed it in the first place, and were never supposed to be together with all these other people in the first place. You know, the other night I was dealing with this young lady. I didn't have to actually deal with her. Light-skinned Black girl. You could tell she was a little mixed, a little watered down. That ain't even what was crazy. What was it even crazy that she hopped out of the car with Habibu? You know what I'm saying? Little Indian dude. What was crazy that when I spoke to her, I said, "How you doing, sister?" She totally ignored me. So, in like fashion, see, I listen to all of these so-called dating coaches and stuff like that, and they try to say that, oh, when a brother speaks to a chick and she don't speak back to him and he says something crazy to her, that, oh, he's just in his feelings. No. No, 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 no. Because you want to be acknowledged. So you're going to acknowledge me because I acknowledge you. It's that simple. If they only had an EMP to drop the whole system, I would love it. I would love it. But as I was saying, though, the baby girl get mad because I call her a sellout. I see who you with. I know what you're thinking. If I ignore him, he'll see that I've picked him over my own people. Long story short, short story shorter, she comes over to try to explain to me that she just didn't hear me. I said, no, you's a sellout, you's a sucker. Now, mind you, everybody around me is a bona fide Gentile. Everybody around me, and every single one of them, even if one of those dudes was attracted to that chick, they all understood my disposition. Every one of them, even the girl understood my disposition. I told her just like this. I said, the only reason why you came over here and acting the way you're acting is because he's not Black and you're insecure in yourself right now. And he gonna come over there talking shit, and once again, dude was ready to get fucked up. So I let him know, like, bro, you can get the hands put on you and smash into the concrete right now over my people. Once it became a my people thing, he just walked away with the chick, right? Now, did I let some vulgar language about her? You know, very unflattering things that I had to say. I might have called her the B word. I did, but she once again she said things to me that worked all the way up to that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not perfect. This is true, Roderick. You say hi. This is true. This is very true. This happened. You know, they just and you know, it's funny as you say, get him, Adrian. You say get him, but this is exactly what all those dudes was like. They was like, yeah, get that mother chick, get her ass, get that dude too. It was as if They understood my plight in that very moment. Like, you know what? This is a dude who's like, I just want my people to be together. I really would love for us to be together, but we can't be together until we separate. Yes, they can make you feel that way. Whoo, and that's why I have my own affinity to once again, when people talk about what women do in their emotions and their feelings. I get in my feelings. I have emotions. I know we're just alike, Roger Spice, just alike, you know. Second. I'm glad you're doing good, Martin. I really am. And yes, Adrian Smith, they want to be separate too, but I have this theory, and I've been saying this for a while now, and my roommate knows that this is not a new thing for me. Everybody wants to be a nigga till it's time to be a nigga. He laughed as I said it because he knows this is. I've been saying this for almost 3 years now. Almost 3 years I've been saying this one. You know. Yeah, separation is the main theme of Israel within the scriptures. But have you ever, D-Mac, have you ever wondered that the scriptures were trying to get people back to immortality, that the laws of the Most High were going to bring us back to living forever? Has that ever dawned on anybody's mind ever? Now, this is what I'm talking about right here, where I don't have to do too much. I just get to just read what you guys say, and we're chopping. It's almost like having a real conversation. I'm gonna hit this link in here again, you know. And once again, anybody who got hangout capability can most definitely hop in the hangout and we can chop it up. You know. And this is why I always wanted to do this, because I want our people to be able to speak on just these things and not feel like they're going to be accosted. Ain't no white people coming in here. Ain't no trolls coming in here to mess with us. Okay. Ain't no half breeds who ain't even really black coming in here. You understand me? Okay. Ain't no Hispanics or natives, so-called natives coming in here who are gonna troll on them. That's not what they're doing. Okay. It dawned on you, Martin. I'm glad it dawned on you. You know, and yes, Adrian, he was giving us life, and he says that, you know, for a person to follow the laws, it's life. The commandments are life. You know, I have a crazy one for y'all. Once again, no concept is new. There's no new thing. The idea of dharma or karma within the Hindu structure is to obviously you get what you sow, good energy, bad energy. But then when we talk about the Brahma now, which is achieving oneness with the universe, this oneness, you could essentially say as a person getting back to the highest levels of the forms of whatever it is that we could be as a person to eventually get back to the Most High. It's just a madman rambling. There's no scripture behind that. So that's just a madman ramble right there, you know. Yes, the very first sin is disobedience, Adrian Smith. The very first sin is disobedience. The very first one. People are like, actually, it's murder. And I'm like, no, it's disobedience. Eve ate from a tree that she knew she wasn't supposed to eat from, so she disobeyed. Then Adam ate with her. He disobeyed. It's disobedience. Now, if y'all didn't notice this while this was happening in the situation, did anyone ever take note that the serpent, the serpentes, was told, asked, excuse me, Adam, who told thou that thou was naked? Who told you you were naked? Who told you you were naked? Did you? That is such a huge factor. That is such a huge factor. It's huge. So, because one of two things: either Adam didn't have the mental capability to perceive that himself, or Adam, once again, because their eyes were open, could not visualize his nakedness, could not see it, and only until he could see his nakedness did he acknowledge it. That's just one of those things that I don't really care about, because I could prove what I just said right there within the scripture, because it says that their eyes were opened, and I could go to the part with Balaam and the ass, and the Most High opens first the ass's mouth, then he opens Balaam's eyes. So if the Balaam's eyes were open and this nigga was riding on his donkey, he wasn't riding with his eyes closed. That just sounds fucking crazy, right? So that means that his perception, the spectra, changed. The perception, the spectra for Adam and Eve changed. And I know it's hard for people to adhere to that and to believe that, but that's what happened, you know. Um, where are we at? All the black in the world, taking notes. Well, all knowledge directly and indirectly comes to us. Yeah. Oh, well, bro, how could any person be from Earth? You might be made of the Earth, but that doesn't mean that you're from here, you know. D-Mac, check this out, big dog. Check this out. I appreciate you. I really do. And I got mad love for you. You're my dude. But pimping. I don't bounce around between different thoughts on scripture because these just for example, and thank you, I appreciate that. But the scripture says two things, you know. One, we're not changing anything. Two, we're not adding to this. You know what I'm saying? And when I say not to take away from removing anything, but the change is the removal, so much more than adding to it, because sometimes when you put things into it, it doesn't change anything. The narrative doesn't change. It didn't make it different. It just elongated the story, so to speak. But when you reverse something or remove, once you take something out, this is no longer the same story now. Okay. If you minus, let's just say once again, if Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2 were at the very end of the Bible, how much sense would that make to a person? How could you have any understanding about people with souls, no souls? Why do you think white people run around on planet Earth to this day saying that people don't have souls? What sense does that make? Unless they know something that they read in the Bible, because the Bible tells you all these things off rip. Some of the most basic things are off rip in the Bible. Cloning, dude. I've spoken on this so many different times. Cloning comes from the concept of Adam and Eve. That's where cloning comes from. Eve is a clone. That's it. That's all. And because our ability to overlook that the very start of the Bible, you could put that into the line with evolution, all different forms of evolution, right? And then explain it from that angle. Because once again, people are so quick to not give the Bible any kind of credence, they're gonna look over it, right? I had a dude come to me the other night who was like, white boy, he was like, did a man not write that? I said, what group? I said, forget it. Name one man of any race who follows every single rule in this book perfectly right now that you know of. That the whole world knows of. Tell me who that person is. There is none. So because there's nobody who follows these rules the way that they're supposed to follow them, a person can't just say that to you. You know, evolution through mingling, not so much, Adrian Smith. Let me read a part of it to you. and then I'm going to break it down real slow, like. Can't let this get be. I won't let it get too biblical, but I'll do this right here real quick. All right, seasons. We're just going to touch on the seasons, and that's it. That's it. That's all. And I'm just going to go right to the verses where it says it. Okay, verse 5. And God called, and this is chapter 1. I know science is all in the Bible. I've made plenty of videos explaining how science is all in the Bible. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the water, and let it be division between water and water. And it was so. And God made the firmament and divided between the water which was under the heaven and the water which was above the firmament. And God called the firmament heaven, and God saw that it was good, and that there was morning, there was evening, and there was morning, the second day. Now understand, in order for there to be a procession of a day, the evening has to go into it, and then the morning comes. So what that says is that when the Most High created the light, right? And he and when he divides between the light and the darkness, right? People have to understand that if I go into a day and I make the day, it's no longer morning when the day is ending. So it ends in the evening and then it begins. Oh no, I understand that, sister. I understand that. I'm just saying that, like, just the most basic part of this. The planet starts just like this. Verse 2. But the earth was unsightly and unfurnished, and darkness was over the deep, and the Spirit of God moved over the water. Stop right there. Once you get past the separation of the water from the planets to the firmament, what would have been the temperature with no light on the planet? Invariably, cold as I don't know what. So you introduce the light there, right? We're working out of our first season, which is winter. One moment. Verse 9, and God said, let the water which is under the heaven be collected into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. So one moment, there was enough sunshine, right, to cause what you guys call evaporation or whatever, to dry things up, right? You understand? Once again, the Most High allowed for all the water to be congealed that was on the planet into one area. So this defeats any thoughts of oceans, defeats them right then and there. Okay, and this also supports Pangea. One moment. And God called the dry land earth, and the gatherings of waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Right, because there's different bodies of water all over the planet that serve different functions, that go to different places. However, not even gonna get carried away with all that. And God said, let the earth bring forth the herb of grass, bearing seed according to its kind and according to its likeness, and the fruit tree, bearing fruit whose seed is in it according to its kind on earth. And it was so. Now, I want y'all to hear something, right? Because this gets real deep. So right there, we're in the happenings of spring. Now, these things are all happening on different days. Okay, I'm talking about the very first, right? It's cold still right now. You see what I'm talking about? It's still cold, but it's a lot warmer than what it just was. So when we have to look at it from a scientific point of view, we're talking about separating water. We all know that natural water is cold, and it's in its most normal state. When you talk about separating the water from the earth, there has to be a level, not just heat. Oh yeah. But Scribe has covered that before. D-Mac. The Scribe told. Well, I listened to Scribe a long time ago. Over 2 years ago, Scribe was saying that there's an ocean in the middle of the earth. One moment. Verse 16. Listen to this. This is a whole point about lighting and all this stuff, and this is where temperatures change. And God made the two great lights, the greater light for regulating the day. One moment. and the lesser light for regulating the night. That means that night and day didn't have a differential between when it was happening. There was just the sun and then the moon. You understand that? So it was almost as light during. What I'm trying to say to you right now is that the Most High, this is his evolution. He's seeing his own things, and he makes it better as he goes forward. This credence to it right here. One moment. And God placed them in the firmament of heaven as to shine upon the earth and to regulate day and night and to divide between the light and the darkness. So listen, this is also another indicator that the lights, the stars, and all these things, right? The sun and the moon had to be placed within heaven. They weren't in heaven at first. They were actually closer to the earth. I know that's hard to believe, right? Yo, but that's what it's saying right here. And this is biblical evolution. This isn't the man's evolution. So once again, get all that stuff out your head. Now, this is the very first sign of true spring coming into summer, okay? And God said, let the waters bring forth reptiles, having life, and winged creatures, flying above the earth in the firmament of heaven, and it was so. And God made great whales, and every living reptile which the waters brought forth according to their kinds, and every creature that flies with the wing according to its kind. And God saw that they were good. And God blessed them, saying, increase and multiply, and fill the waters of the seas, and let the creatures that fly be multiplied upon the earth. Once again, stop right there. This is credence that anything that flies comes out of the water. So this is why you have seagulls who have webbed feet, even though they're considered unclean. This is credence that they come from the water. Because guess what is a clean bird that has webbed feet? The duck. Crow doesn't have webbed feet, he's dirty. The pigeon doesn't have webbed feet, that he's clean. So these are things to look at. Those differences in their bodies. Pigeons have semi-webbed feet, but they're not really webbed anymore. Anyhow, that's what I'm saying. And then the changing of how they look goes into Genesis chapter 6. But we're not going to get there right now. Where we're going to just be at is how on this planet, right? It just told you that, first off, our understanding of how vegetation grows isn't even correct. It hasn't rained once, and the Most High is like, fruits and vegetables grow on this planet. Do you understand? No, literally, do you understand that? Because that's one of those things that people think that, oh, when it talks about, and God hadn't reigned on the earth yet, well, that's talking about Adam. And then it also talks about the same man having a soul breathed into his body. Where was I at? Now here we go. Here goes the fall. No, bro. JD Hope. The flying creatures, every flying creature that you're reading about. Look. And God said, let the water bring forth reptiles, and having life, and winged creatures, flying above the earth in the firmament of heaven. That the everything that flew on this planet and flies now came out of the water. Everything, bruh. Everything. They have children on the planet because their bodies aren't built to sustain life in the water. Which is why the Most High told the water to congeal up into one area, so that, because he, once again, bro, he already thought about this stuff. If you look at the order of how he did everything, it's ingenious. It's ingenious. Totally ingenious, you know. But once again, everything that flies comes up out of the water. Everything. There's animals now that live in the water, and there's animals now that live on the earth that have these. But I mean, but even a water bird like a seagull or a duck, they get out and they'll sleep on land. They don't have a problem sleeping on land. They don't have a problem with that at all. So, I mean, yeah, but Genesis 2:19, bruh. Okay, look, hold on. We're gonna read Genesis 2:19. And don't get mad when I bust your head real quick, because you did this. And God formed yet further out of the earth all the wild beasts of the field and all the birds of the sky. And listen, he brought, this is all, that's not the first creation, dude. That's not even the first creation, bruh. There's animals that were created then that aren't in the first creation. Did it say that does it even mention fishes? JP Hope, does it mention fishes? No, it does not. I'm talking about evolution right now, boss. Adam is way after. Adam, I could argue Adam comes after Genesis chapter 6, if you actually read the Bible and understand what it's saying to us. Because why would the Most High give this dude a soul and then not give his first creation a soul? Yes. JP Hope, if you want to get in it, bro, once again, I can't stand when dudes want to disagree. Get in the link, bro. I'm going to send the link again. Get in here and explain yourself, because you're going against what I'm talking about with evolution. You just want to be right. You just want to be right. But explain how what you just said has anything to do with evolution. Explain that to me. I already know that there's two creation stories. I'm telling him that there's two creations. He don't want to. He don't want to hear that. He changed the whole message just then. You know what I'm saying? By trying to say Genesis 2:19. I know that Adam named birds and other wild beasts, but Adam didn't name no fish. So what about that, pimp? That means that Adam wasn't around any major bodies of water other than the rivers that ran through the garden that are mentioned. Am I tripping? So once again, back to evolution, before we get off tangent again. And God said, let the earth bring forth the living creature according to its kind, quadrupeds and reptiles and wild beasts of the earth according to their kind. So once again, this isn't following exact evolution, whereas the fish turns into the lizard turns into the bird turns into the four-legged beast, and then so on and so forth. This right here has it written to where the quadruped is first, then the reptile, then the wild beast of the earth. Am I tripping? Am I tripping? So it says here first. You would believe that the reptile would have came first out of that, but the reptile only comes first in the water part. And the water reptiles and land reptiles are not the same. Right on, JP Hope. I got you, boss. I'm just saying, bro, we're talking about evolution right now. I understand that these aren't the only birds on the. I knew that before I said that, but I'm talking about right here, right now in Genesis chapter 1. All those birds, you're talking about anything from there, all the flying creatures of heaven. Those are the birds of the sky, not the flying creatures of heaven. Those are birds of the sky. It's even worded differently, bro. The flying creatures of heaven and birds of the sky. They're different. They're not the same. Oh, see, YouTube is doing whatever they got to do, bro. I can't be mad at YouTube for trying to hate on my little channel. You know, we ain't doing nothing. We're not doing anything wrong, but we're talking about something that actually means something. You know, it means something to know that the Most High is giving us a chance. I wanted to read this to you guys because a lot of dudes say a lot of stuff, and I went right to it. Hallelujah. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 1. Attend, O heaven, and I will speak, and let the earth hear the words of my mouth. Let my speech be looked for as the rain, and my words come down as dew, as the shower upon the herbage, and as snow upon the grass. For I have called on the name of the Lord. Assign ye greatness to our God. As for God, his works are true, and all his ways are judgment. God is faithful, and there is no unrighteousness in him. Just and holy is the Lord. They have sinned, not pleasing him. Spotted children. You know what that means? Mixed children, strange children. A froward and perverse generation. Do ye thus recompense the Lord? Is the people thus foolish and unwise? Did not he himself rather thy father purchase thee and make thee and form thee? Remember the days of old. Consider the years for past ages. Ask thy father, and he shall relate to thee, thine elders, and they shall tell thee. The Most High divided nations when he separated the sons of Adam. Stop. Beyond the evolution talk. And I'm going to go right back to that. This right here is hitting on everything I'm talking about. It's talking about everything I just read to you. This is what the Most High did. He's perfect and righteous in his way. There is nothing bad about him. So if you could believe that the Most High stood around and let fallen angels come here and dirty up his creation while he just stood by and did nothing. I mean, I have a hard time saying that. I have a hard time saying that. I mean, I know who said that. I just have a hard time repeating those words myself because that means that the Most High was stagnant and did nothing. Right. Who's, once again, if you co-sign on any level of there being a fucking clone army on this planet right now, if you co-sign that, you have to understand that you're saying that the Most High stood by and watched a perfect creation get dirtied up while he was creating it. How could the world have ever been perfect? How? How could the world have ever been perfect? Somebody tell me that. Does anybody know? I mean, how? Oh well, no. Look, but the strangers had been there. This is the part about the term stranger that's relative to what we're speaking on. Let's go back to the Aboriginals. Let's say you got blood mixed in as an Aboriginal person, right? And now you only made babies with Aboriginal people. Maybe the first generation, maybe even the second generation might be considered some of the people, but the third generation is not the people. They can't be. They can't be. They don't have enough of the blood to even call themselves part of the people, let alone anything else. So you're a stranger to us because you have stranger blood in you. The term stranger means just that. You're strange to us, you know. So strange to the planet. Can you dig it? You don't belong. How could you be a stranger and yet all the sons of Noah knew each other? Don't make sense. You know. Um, Give me one moment. Give me one moment. I uh I really do feel a certain type of way about the scripture, you know. Um like some people don't feel a type of way, but when I read it, like I really get angry about some of the things that I see, you know. Do you know what the word forward means? It means you have no morals. You have no morals, no scruples, none. Our generation is forward. He's talking about us. We're the ones that are spotted. That's us. That's our generation. Now I was looking for the other part, you know what I'm saying? There's another verse that's just like that, where he says, I shall see what the end shall be. And it might be at the end of Deuteronomy, but people don't want to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. The Most High will stand by and watch you get your head broken. And you deserve it. Strange flesh is non-human flesh. I can believe that. But you have to understand, though, the word dictates quadrupeds being laid with by people. So when you say strange flesh, one has to know that you're not talking about animals, big brother. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not knocking anything. I'm totally with you. I'm totally with you. I'm just saying that we have to acknowledge that you're not talking about animals, because a person who doesn't know any better could easily assume that you mean a fucking quadruped, you know? And that wouldn't be your fault or their fault. It's a matter of the wording, you know? The non-human part is what would make them think animals. No, exactly. Bro, man, Roger Spice, we need shock treatment. Most black people need shock therapy to come up out of the trance that they're in, because they're asleep. They're asleep. They are sleeping. Martin Etta, talking about that's one of your favorite verses ever. I'm glad that I picked off on one of your favorite evers. Because as my little brother, you are my dude. And you really do inspire me a lot, man. And like I said, bro, you have endless possibilities, endless potential. But it's a matter of you keeping away from all the evil people that want to bring you down, little brother. How are you going to assure a particular level of understanding in the room, D-Mac? That's my job. Now you're me. You gonna take my job from me too? Gonna come up to Washington State, kick me out of my apartment, start paying the rent in this bitch too? And I ain't talking smack. I'm just saying it's my job. I'll proctor this. I'll moderate. I'll be the liaison for right now. So that way, if I say something wrong or something is said that's within error, it's on me. They attack me. They don't try to attack D-Mac, right on? Because D-Mac is a spectator and a speculator all at once and a partaker. I know that, D-Mac. I'm just saying, big dog. Damn, don't take me too serious. I can't be taken too serious. However, Roger Spice, as you said about the medicine, bro, and Mr. Smith, you know what I'm saying? The rebooting or the taking of the medicine, we're doing it right now in our own ways, you know. Some people take large doses of this medicine, some people take smaller doses. Some people take a dose and have a full-blown allergic reactions to it. So it's not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I love what we're able to do right now. Out of the out of the 300 and almost 30 people subscribed, I know you guys don't want to believe this. Maybe 50 of them, maybe 50, maybe. When I say I'm being generous, maybe 50 people are actually subscribed because they want to hear the word. Maybe 50. So it's just one of those things where here we are. This to me, this is the truth right here. Whoever's here right now, I don't care what they say. These are the people who are most involved in this form of thinking, you know. And I know you guys go to other chat rooms and do other stuff and whatever. That's fine. But at the end of the day, you still have a certain mode of thinking to have been here for this long and to not have left already. You know, of course, people leave and come back or whatever, but to be here, you know, it's a blessing, you know. Just like I'm reading Martin Etta right now. Honored for you to say that. I truly am. I'm blessed to be able to congeal with somebody I aspire to be. Like, hey, bro, every weekend I go out there and I work with these black brothers. They're all older than me. One of them calls me affectionately, ever affectionately, Godfather or baby Godfather sometimes. And when I say he means this, he means it with the bottom of his heart. He's always quick to tell me how I'm not expendable, this, that, and the other. Because every once in a while, Demetrius, is liable to get outside of itself. So I know I'm not perfect. I know I'm not perfect, but this is just what it is. Um, our people are out there, and I'm able to reach out to them. And they're older than me, and they tell me, "Oh, I look up to you," and I'm just like, "I look up to them." Like, how does that work? You know what I mean? Like, I guess we're looking up to each other, you know. And it's just those things where we're able to draw back and be like, okay, yeah, ain't nobody perfect, so we have our ways. I for sure have my ways, um, but I attempt to not allow my ways to ever affect you. So much so to where there's a real grievance. I try to only allow my ways to seriously only affect me. Um, this is why I feel some type of way about people who go out there and they sell drugs, right? And they get caught up, and then they put that responsibility. Let's say they were taking care of a family of just him, a lady, and a baby, boy or girl, right? They place that responsibility now on society, and they place it on other people within their family, who are not society. Your family is not society. Your family is your family. There's a difference. The society is just the people who are in the general environment, who can affect you directly or indirectly by their actions and activities. But that's neither here nor there. When I say that, that's just to bring the light. There's no understanding, okay? There's no understanding. And for a person to sacrifice themselves, to throw themselves under the bus, right? To put that kind of responsibility and weight on people is so much. And essentially that's what our ancestors have done to us, is they've compiled so much wrongness that now here we are as not just the family, but some of us now being the society, having to attempt to fix things that we don't even know what the causes and problems are. We're living in the symptoms. Now we know the cause is written down on paper, but you weren't there to actually live the cause, so you don't know what actually happened and took place. I don't know what actually happened and took place. I can only speculate based on what I read. That's it. That's why I always say that people are sometimes at best just a speculator, and they shouldn't be offended when they hear that. They should be happy that they've been given a dang a pass, so to speak. Because once again, when you're not being looked at as the person who's responsible for a problem, you're not being looked at as the person who has to fix the problem. Black people, and I mean Israelites, and I mean those who are stuck right now in America, they're not fixing the situation. They're being part of their own problem. The people who are seeing the symptoms and are trying to address the symptoms, they get called words like coon, hater, lame, sellout, faggot, all kinds of stuff. The people who have helped in many ways are already dead. Those who have hurt us in many ways are already dead. So all we can do now is literally go forward. That's it. This is a perverse generation, a forward generation, and one whom there is no faith, and he shall see what the end shall be. Can you dig that? One of these days, y'all, one of these days, you're going to really appreciate what I mean by this is a special generation. Because these homosexuals you see walking around now, they would either have to have been living in their own gay communities, or they would have got killed off. Okay? Some of the things that we've done that I'm not proud of, whether I speak on my whoredoms as a man or speak on adultery, that I know that I've played a role in before. You know what I'm talking about? Like, this is me just being honest. Until there's a level of you blasting yourself with a fucking plasma cannon and saying, I'm the same piece of shit that I'm talking about. I'm the same garbage person that I'm talking about. Until you actually look in the mirror and say that, it's never going to change. You're not even going to make the movement to change. You can't, because you don't think you're wrong. That is a predisposition that a lot of people who I won't even say are evil, they're confused have. They don't think what they're doing that is wrong is actually a wrong thing. So they continue to do so. This is not by a false design that is happening like that. It's not by a false design. It's because the Most High is allowing that to happen. I don't expect anyone to put together everything that I put together as I put it together. All I expect for you to do is understand what you understand and then work with that information. Don't be so hateful to yourself that you can't have growth. But at the same time, don't be so easy on yourself that you believe that you had as much growth as you're ever going to have. That's a false way of carrying yourself. That's not love. That's not love for self. That's not love for others around you. You understand? And this is why, once again, I attempt to bring myself in the most honest, humble, and sincere form that I can. I don't withhold from you. I don't withhold. You know, and it's just because they don't want to. Once again, accountability. It starts with you. Policing starts with you. You understand that? The cure starts with you. You are the symptom of the cure or the disease. Can you dig it? You are not the disease. You are not the spiritual entity that can bring the suffering. You are not the cure. You are not the spiritual entity that can bring the remedy. You're only a symptom of it. I'm a symptom of it. But you can see the cure. You can know the cure and you can bring it to people or bring them to the cure because you're a symptom of it. I know what the cure is because this is what it looks like to be clean from these things. I know what the disease is because I'm afflicted by these things. And as such. And Brother JP Hope, when I say what I'm saying, I say it so that way when you listen to these other gentlemen, everything that they're saying is catered to a specific mindset of thinking. I don't have time to bash women. Can you dig it? I don't have time for that, bro. I don't. I'm too sexually attracted to women to get up here and talk all this smack and then to go outside and see a woman and be like, wow, I'd probably lay with her. That kind of shit like that kills me. It kills me. And it makes what they're saying worthless. I'd rather say nothing and know how I feel about something overall than to say something and then to convey actions that speak and all the way against it. Step one, admit your faults. You're most definitely right, sister. You're most definitely right. Did the Most High say, does thou first admit your sins? Right. Do you first admit your sins? Your transgressions? Do you know you've done something wrong? Why would you apologize if you don't think you've done something wrong? Why would you ask for forgiveness if you don't think you've done something wrong? Right. You're not going to. We as people, we're not conditioned for that. We've been told it's weak to be apologetic. You know who are unapologetic? Feminists and homosexuals. Did you hear me? Hold on. Let me go ahead and rephrase that. Do you know who's unapologetic? Sexual miscreants. All of them. Unapologetic. They have nothing to feel sorry for. Nothing. They sleep with animals. They sleep with the same sex. They do whatever they want to do. Wallow in their own waste. And they have no shame. Unabashed by their own behavior. And this is why, once again, I I've never tried to promote myself on another person's channel. I might speak in the comment section. I try not to get crazy about this stuff because once again, I'd have to come and like ether dudes. Oh, bro, it's okay. Don't apologize. Don't apologize. There's nothing to apologize about, bro. Once again, this is part of the growth process. You feel me? Don't apologize, bro. There's nothing to be apologetic for, bro. That's all good, bro. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to talk about evolution for a moment anyway. So all you did was help the story go along, bro. You ain't did nothing bad. And all you did was point out to other people was that there were flying creatures, not of heaven, but flying birds of the sky that were made. That's okay. It's all good. It's not a big deal. We were worried about evolution at that point in time. Just like right now, bro, we're talking about accepting what we've done. If you feel like that, bro, you've already done, you've done the hard part. The hard part is over. The easy part is for everybody here to move on. You see what I'm saying? And that's how it has to work as us as a people. That's how the healing has to work. You know, the healing won't take place as a people because first off, the Most High has to heal us. That's number one. But number two, the beginning steps to that is to admit that you need help. If you don't think you need help, you don't think you're hurt or injured until it's too late. So once again, that your comment ties directly into what it is that I'm speaking on, is what we are to do, and then exactly how to do it. That's it, brother. We can do nothing else as people. That's it. We can do nothing else. You know, teamwork does make the dream work. That was the idea. That was the idea of the Israelites, and they somehow DMAT. Normally, I have to look at what you're saying and wonder if you're saying something crazy. That, my friend, I 100,000% agree with you on, bro. I have no dissension on that whatsoever. They ate some sour ass grapes, and now our teeth are on the edge. You're absolutely right, bro. You're absolutely right. But once again, though, it takes people saying that their ancestors ate sour grapes. It takes people saying that their ancestors betrayed a deity, the one true deity of everyone, of everything. They betrayed him. Not just turned him, they betrayed him. And until there's a level of acceptance that, yeah, we come from people who ain't shit in so many ways, we're never going to have anything. He's never, why would you, the creator of everything, help somebody who they show you, if you keep helping me, I'm going to keep doing fucked up shit. Sins of the father. Let me go ahead and go back to why, in a brief nutshell, the sins of the father. See, this is why I don't blame Eve as much as I do blame Adam. Because no matter how you put this, and before I even go to Adam, let's go to the fallen angels. The fallen angels, the sins of the fathers, or the sins of the fallen shows through the children. And yes, they did hate the Most High in many ways. Oh, more way than one. But let's just go to Adam. If I'm going to hold Adam completely accountable, the sins that we all go through right now all fall on Adam as a man. As a man. As a man. If you cannot accept him being accountable for that entire situation in the garden, there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you. Because if as a man you tell yourself that you're superior to a woman physically and mentally and all these things, yet he was somehow able to fucking eat a piece of fruit that he knew he wasn't supposed to eat, what does that say about him? What does that say about him? Right. Did he hate the Most High? I wouldn't even begin to think that. But a silly one would say that Adam is at no fault. Everything is on Eve. Fuck it. We blame Lilith. We'll just blame the serpent. Blame everything on the serpent. At what level, once again, as a man in this modern day, am I to be respected when I'm trying to allow my ancestor to get off the hook for something that essentially falls in his lap? It's the same situation, gentlemen. You can't seek to blame these women and you don't take no kind of accountability. So nothing is your fault at all. None of it. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Put on your big boy pants and just take it. Because until you take it and don't say nothing and you suffer in silence like you're supposed to. This is why black women don't deal with black men. Okay, for the most part. Because these niggas don't suffer in silence no more. They used to. This is why these rappers have black daddies, okay? Because their daddies suffered in silence. They didn't just move on out of the community and say, you know what? Asian women, Hispanic women, Arab women are all nice to me. White women are always nice to me. They always treat me right. And they think I'm exotic. So I'm gonna go give them babies. I'm gonna go be with them. Sucker butt activity like that. That's a sucker butt move. You didn't suffer. So apparently you feel like you're too good for the curses. But yet you acknowledge being an Israelite, but you're too good for the curses. What kind of, who are you? Who are you? Who are you to levy such an accusation against the Most High that all of a sudden you're the one Israelite? You're the one Israelite who somehow everything you do, you shit gold, you talk gold, you speak gold, you piss gold. You are Midas itself. That's bullshit. So once again, if I'm tripping, and I'm gonna give you my take on Adam in a second. If I'm tripping, tell me I'm tripping, and I'll take that. But tell me why I'm tripping. Don't just say I'm tripping. Tell me why. Break it down to me. You want to be a leader as a man, then let's go back to our first leader, Adam, and let's hold him accountable in all ways that we can. So then that way, when we hold ourselves accountable, right, that's how you do it. That's the only way to do it. Oh, if you caught a dude laying with a man like he was a woman and then you let them live, well, you're allowing the evil, that abomination to carry on. I'm glad it's an eye-opener, Roger Spice. I'm glad it is, brother, because for so many years, we've had to listen to dudes pretty much placate themselves. And this is why I only listen to certain brothers, because they never, ever, ever, and one of the brothers I listen to a lot right now, Rom Wills. I got mad respect for Rom Wills. You know what I'm saying? He says stuff that I don't agree with, but I could actually say for that brother, almost 95% of the time, the things that come out of his mouth pertaining to how you should conduct yourself as a man and overall accountability, I agree with all the time. Do I agree with everything he says about how you should conduct yourself with women? No, because he's like my dad's age, and how they conduct themselves with women and how I'm going to conduct myself with is going to be different, because what they're doing are things that don't work. Okay? You understand what I'm talking about? It's simple to me. No dating coach should be single. How good? Do you understand what I'm talking about? You feel me? No dating coach should be single, because at best they're a fornicator teaching you how to fornicate. You know what I'm talking about? You need to go deal with somebody who's in, if you want multiple girlfriends, you need to have somebody on YouTube with multiple girlfriends telling you how to go about that situation. If you want a wife, you need to be listening to somebody who's in that situation. You know what I'm talking about? And people can be like, oh, failure this, it gives you this. It doesn't always do that for you. Failure does not give everybody clarity. This lets them understand what they did, if they even know that. So this is why, once again, as men, your accountability has to be so high for yourself, no one can say anything. So if you hold a woman accountable, she's heard how you hold yourself accountable, she can say nothing. she can say nothing. The people listening to you can say nothing. They're gonna be like, damn, he kind of right. Shit. And then they got to fold up. Yeah, he may be too old to be a dating coach, but he's not too old to be a life coach. And that's, I think that's what brothers like him should stick to. You know what I'm saying? You know, but because he has a well of information where eventually he would talk about dating, but that doesn't have to be that main thing. But once again, bro, this is about money for a lot of dudes. You know, people can say whatever, but it's about the dollar bill for a lot of these cats, and they've been sold into thinking that. So they can't help but to think that. I don't blame nobody for thinking like that, because there's a lot of cats who are YouTubers who they don't necessarily impose, once again, you paying or nothing, but it's like they promote all these other things that they do where you're like, okay, they're trying to get some money eventually. You know what I mean? Like that's their ultimate idea is to get some dollars off of this, you know, even if it's just a few dollars. However, it's not the point. Accountability is the point. And if you're not accountable for yourself, how can you expect people to listen to you? Why do these men want women to listen to them and they don't want to be accountable? It's just like, it's like the dudes talk as if they've never had sex before. You know, if that were the case, everything they say would hold weight. Everything. If they were a bunch of 50 and 60-year-old virgins telling people like this, that, and the other, and this is why you do this, and this is why you do that, it would make a lot more sense. But these are people who are, I don't know, too quick to bypass what they've done and overlook what, and I mean, like literally overlook what they've done and then try to point out all your faults. You know, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. I got a friend. This dude he'll be 35 this year. His name is Vondre. My man's is from New York. Bro just now started growing his facial hair back. And he told me it's because of me. Because I've been putting the pressure on him for over a year. Like, man, when you gonna stop shaving? And just, you know, and just grow it all in. Well, it's been nice talking to you, Miss Smith. You take it easy. You take it easy. However, we have to be accountable. We need to be accountable. We must be accountable. And if we're not, we're going to lose. We're going to lose. You know, we're going to lose everything that we have. The only thing you still have left that's worth anything is the soul. Believe that. Believes that. That's the one thing you got that's worth something. So don't play yourself short because you're not accountable and never have been and don't know how to be accountable. Being accountable is every day you get a chance, when you go and wash your face, brush your teeth, you look in the mirror and you, all right, bro, I'll catch you next time. It's a concept that I know is going to be overlooked by a whole lot of us. But got to learn to look yourself in the face, right in the eyes. Even when it makes you want to cry because you're like, what have I become? You know, what have I really become on this planet? Okay, I understand that, Tammy. I'm with you, big sister, but that's not how it goes in today's world. You know what I mean? 30 years ago, because I'm 27, so 30 years ago, you had, all right, okay, Adrian Smith, you take it easy. There's so much going on you know, but 30 years ago, there was a lot more going on as far as like what people did socially. People think there's more happening now, but there's not. And may the Most High bless you both and keep you safe. Y'all be good. It has been an honor. It's always going to be an honor. The next time I plan on having another one. I'll make sure that I set it up like an event, just like this, so that way people know a day or two ahead or whatever, and then hopefully we can try to make a 10 minutes, 20 minutes or whatever, because I'm gonna sit down for a little while and get it in. But 30 years ago was a lot different. The sexual proclivity, the freedom of a woman was way less unquestioned than I think people really like actually understand it. Like there were so many teenage children pregnant, and they don't want to talk about this right now. This is where they get that babies having babies concept from, right? Because that was that real Gen Xers. That was that's Generation X right there. Um, you move forward, you have my generation of people. Yeah, there was some millennials who had kids. There's a lot of them who were young who had kids, but there's a lot more Gen Xers that I know. I knew a lot of kids when I was, like, let's say when I was like 7, right? 8, whose parents were only like 21, 20. Their parents had them when they were like 14, 15 years old. I knew a lot of dudes like that. It's weird. We're in a, once again, 30 years later now, we're coming back to a swing where it's like that again, where you're having all these little young girls having babies. But she don't respect herself. I'll tell you what I think about Revelations in a moment. I don't too much get carried away into the book of Revelations. Once again, I love Scribe for a whole bunch of different reasons. But probably one of the most profound reasons I love that, but I don't like him all the time. But I do love bro. And it's because he through his ability of perception of scripture almost gave me the ability to be able to perceive things that I would not normally perceive. Oh, tell me about the manipulation factor, sister. You know exactly right. It's weird though, because there was a lull in that. There was a serious lull, and it's like the same programming that they had back then they have now. Girls dressed like it's the 80s right now. They haven't even made the swing back to the 90s. It's almost as if like they're reverting to like the 70s or something, like. Of course we only get together when it's the last resort, but we should be able to be separate, brother. You know what I mean? The Most High meant for the Israelites to have their own. Let me pick up this. This is the Schofield. Excuse me. I'm going to the book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 13. I'm gonna read it out loud and tell you exactly what I think. And before I say it's a crock or whatever, I'll read it. Here I go. Verse 13. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. No, I'm gonna start at verse 12. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones, of pearl and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet, and all thine wood, and all manner vessels of ivory, and all manner vessels of most precious wood, of brass and iron and marble, and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat. So understand that fine flour and wheat are different. And breast and sheep, and beast and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. And it's so he's talking about what the merchants are going to have. I can say this right here to you, because it speaks on having slaves and then having the souls of men. I could speak to the fact that those slaves don't have souls and that they're soulless people. And that the souls of men that they're speaking on could either be the literal soul constitution, but since the Father said that no man has the has no man has power over the spirit, I would assume that none of them have power over the soul either. Does that make sense? Like, how do you control something that comes from another thing? It don't make no sense. Um, bro, we're gonna have to get to a level where they're messing with, I guess, the conscience. If maybe that's it. Maybe when they figure out a way to hold on to people's consciences, right, and to keep the conscience and a housing unit, so-called conscience. Maybe they're selling those, and maybe they have that for sale for levy. It's not very clear. There's other scripture, in the Old Testimony that when it speaks to people having souls, it's actually um, speaking on them just having literal people around them. When it speaks on, saying like the Most High saying, excuse me, not the Most High, but people saying to save my soul alive, but they mean to save their life. It could be another variant speaking on the life. I'd have to go into the exact what the exact Hebrew word. We'd have to know that the words there are the actual intended words and not for something else. I'm not sure what you mean. A show? Is it about the same thing? I'm not sure what you mean, D-Mac. But let me hit something real quick before I get too carried away with that. Where are we at? Excuse me. Nope. Nope. One moment. So, okay, here we go. And this will just go back into me just trying to speak on like the soul concept just then. I'm in the Fourth Kings in the Septuagint, and I'm on chapter 2. Here we go. And it came to pass when the Lord was going to take Eliu with the whirlwind, as it were into heaven, that Eliu and Elisha went into Galgala. Now this is talking about Elijah and Elijah. And Eliu said to Elijah, "Stay here, I pray thee, for God has sent me to Bethel." And Elijah said, "As the Lord lives, and thy soul lives, I will not leave thee." So they came to Bethel. So understand, as he says, "As the Lord lives, as thy soul lives," can you dig it? He could have easily said, "As you live," but he understands that bro is a living soul. So once again, this could just be in possession of people who have living souls. That's all it could be. It could be just that simple. Um, Brother, I've been going on now for a few hours, talking, jaw jacking. I want to end on a note just like this. We're gonna end on a picture about the Aboriginals. Share my screen. One moment. Bam. This is the project that I'm working on. This is going to be the project for Sim. Let's go in here. Oh, forget that. Let's go here. Pictus, where do you be at? Yeah. Right when that stuff had first happened to bro, I had went and looked up Stephon Clark, and I was gonna do a video for him and all that, but no, too many things going on. All right, look, let me pull this picture right here. This knuckle right here up. Look at this guy, and he's a prime example of what I'm talking about with this coarse hair people, booty face, right on. Now look, pull up a picture of Morgan Freeman also. Bam, side by side. Look at these people. One guy grows a beard, and he doesn't even grow a crazy ass looking beard, but he grows a beard. The other guy grows no facial hair. Their hair is a similar, but not exactly the same. The guy's hair is so matted and so unhealthy that you can't tell the actual physical constitution of the hair. Whereas Morgan Freeman, look at the difference in the skin tone. Where Morgan Freeman is like red. You can he's probably clearly mixed with some kind of native. If not, some kind of he's mixed with some kind of Middle Earth thing. Can you dig it? This dude right here on my left, though, is the Middle Earth thing all the way. Straight up. No question about it to me. No questions about it. At best, that dude is mutated ham. At best. One moment, let's get back in here. Where are we at? Where are we at? I mainly made this folder for somebody else who thought I didn't know what I was talking about. So I went and got some information for him. But this folder has this should have some pictures in it that I want to show you. No, we're not going to use that one. All right, yeah, here, you know what? Yes, this is actually a really good picture to use right now. Look at this picture. So there's 3 Chaldeans here, okay? 4, maybe what could be 5 men over here and a woman. And as you can see, this is a Byzantine Psalter, and the 11th and what's written in the 11th century in ancient Greek. The exact province is unknown, described as an unnoticed Byzantine Psalter, 1921 magazine article. 3 Chaldean with Israelite captives. Now, how do they know that they're Chaldeans, and how do they know that these guys are Israelites? How do they know that? How? Do you understand? These are important questions to ask yourself. Now, look at this man. Does he look asimilar to these people? Yes, he does. He does very much so. Pull up other pictures of people. 1 second. This is the hard part, y'all. Is getting everyone to see this, and then even more difficult to accept what they're seeing. Not to accept what I've said, but to accept what they saw with their face. Wanted to point out something real quick with guys like Chris Rock, not Chris Rock, but Chris Tucker. Look, he has the same underbeard. You can clearly see that he shaves all that off. He has the same beard formation that Morgan Freeman does. This is the same kind of beard that my father grows, right on. When you've been blood mixed with for so long, you get watered down, right on. It happens to you. People are like, well, how do you have a full beard? Because my mama's dad is it's a real ex-slave. Well, not ex-slave, but he comes from like real slave stock, and he's a brother. So obviously when people are blood mixed together, this goes back to that 7/8 thing, and not to say that I'm anywhere close to 87%. I think I'm closer to like 3/4, somewhere really close, maybe a little more, a little less. But it's just one of those things where look at this man, right on. This is your people. Once again, look at these people right here. Same skin tone. I could pull up people who don't look nothing like this, right on, don't look nothing like them, and have similar skin tone. Can you dig it? This is what I'm talking about. We have to, as a people, acknowledge what we're seeing and accept it, and not be mad at ourselves for what we're seeing. One good time. Just look at it. Look at the genie in the back. Look at all that stuff. This is the picture we're ending on. This is about us at the end of the day. Mind the fact that Israelites, right? For them to be considered Israelite, and these guys are Chaldean, means that the children of Israel have been in the nation for quite some time. To have been considered not the children of Israel, but Israelites. Unless to call them Israelites is a person speculating from the future looking at the past. And maybe these are just 3 Chaldeans with Hebrew captives and not Israelites, as I was first taught. However, I don't know what those things are hanging on the tree. They look like travel baggage or something of the sort. And mind the fact, look at all these guys right here sitting down. They're afraid of these dudes. Why? I don't know. But these dudes must know something. And the only person who looks like they're pleading right now is the woman. You have a guy over there holding his chin, it looks like, contemplating some stuff. You got the brother in the back with the beard. He looks a little discomfited. The brother that's right next to that brother looks discomfited. You see what I'm saying? Note the fact that the Chaldeans look like they shave, obviously. These Israelites over here, which is why I don't call them Israelites, clearly they're shaven, but obviously the Most High wouldn't have put a rule there for people not to shave if they didn't already shave their faces, like dumbasses. Anyway, and I'm not calling anybody a dumbass now who has to shave, but these guys back then were stupid because they didn't have to and they chose to. Once again, they chose to be wicked, chose to be evil, chose that. They chose in their hearts to hate the Most High. People who look just like this, look just like you, look just like me. Don't look like no damn Aborigines. Hey, man, I love y'all. It has been a blast and an honor. Once again, I salute you. Take it easy.